We're live.
Yeah, we're on now. All right, sorry about that, folks. WZAA, LPFM, Jeffersonville, Ohio. But we're transplanted today. We have been beamed. We have been beamed me over to Wilmington today. Beam me up, Scotty.
Star Trek.
Yep.
Nice.
And Mary Ann
Nice
is
Mickey reference.
driving new wheels today.
Right? A color.
Well, it's a
it's
new
the same
car to
thing.
you, isn't it? It's a new
It
car to you.
doesn't feel new until I get out and see the black side instead of a white side. So the only difference is it does not. It is everything is the same as my previous vehicle. The only difference is the color and the mileage.
Chris Rolfs on. How you doing, Chris?
I didn't get it from a dealer. I got it from a private owner.
Yeah.
And it's got 135,000 miles on it. But the miles are highway miles because they would drive it to and from Florida. They'd drive it to Florida and then drive it back from Florida, and it would be there for 3 months. And
Speaking of Florida, Chris Rolfe says, good morning from Key West. You look
Good
like
morning.
you're having a great time down there, man. You are. The only thing I would say, and this is just from one big guy to another big guy, shirts aren't a bad thing. That's all I'm going to say. Shirts aren't a bad thing.
You're not
I'm dehydrated and close to death. That's what he says. I'm dehydrated. Well, when you're sponsored by Adolph Coors, I'm not sure what he drinks, but probably Bud Light, I bet. Well, don't. You
haven't been doing Brazilian style, just a Speedo on the beach, nothing else.
Chris Rolfe, Mary Ann's
Painting a beautiful picture here.
Mary Ann's wanting pictures, it sounds like. Speedo with you on the beach. There you go. Okay, Tyler Sapp, how you doing? He was 90 miles from Cuba yesterday. He was at southernmost point of the United States. Sean Hodge, what's up, bud? You doing good today? Sean's got him a new job. He's traveling all over the place, and I think he's loving it. Every time I talk to him, he just seems like he's super happy, which is awesome. Chris Rolfe, I can make that happen. Okay, there you go. Mary Ann Dodson on Facebook. There you go. If you just want to message that one, that would be okay.
I didn't ask for that.
You can put that on the
words in my
you
mouth.
can put that on the WZAA page. Well, you're the one that said it several times. We've got the video. What was it you called it? Brazilian or something?
I simply asked if he had.
To me, that sounds like what do they call that, a threat? He says, I'm going to do it.
I don't know very many people who don't go like Florida and further, like Mexico, Brazil, and who don't embrace the whole almost nude to nude beach scene.
That's not me. No, I have sympathy for people.
Pretty.
Yeah, Kim. Well, she's not going to go now. She's going to hold back. Yeah.
I consider a Speedo very, very minimal clothing, if at all.
Earl
and it seems like everybody who's in a Speedo should not be in a Speedo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Earlvis just said that on there. Have you seen the sock that just covers the
I have.
the bunch? Yeah, it's nasty.
I have. That's not crazy. Ooh, speaking of crazy things, Charlie. Yep. So we've done all the crazy things that are hitting kids these days. Like the Kylie Lip Jenner challenge.
Yep.
We've covered Tide Pods. Now,
do you know they have Tide Pod condoms now?
That's what I was getting to.
Oh, did I steal your? Did I steal your?
Did you know that people are?
Yeah.
They're snorting.
No, we did that the other day on the show.
It's
When Kim was in Tuesday, we had somebody actually send us a video. We did not post the video. We did not show the video. But Kim and I looked at it, yeah.
A condom.
Yeah.
And these are the same people who don't want a wall, who thinks peace and love to everybody.
Chris Rolfe says they wear them down there. Are you talking about the men or the women? Or I'm sure it's probably both. No, he's talking about
He's talking about the socks.
saw one dude that was really big, and his wife was more whale. Oh, jeez. Phil Hoskins, Carolyn Arbol, Gerald. Yeah, I have respect for people. I will keep my nakedness to myself. Thank you very much. I respect you enough not to walk around and show off the goods. You know what I mean?
I think that's common decency to be somewhat clothed. I mean, if you're wearing, if you can't cover your naughty bits, maybe you shouldn't be in public that way.
That's true. That's true.
Naughty bits, jiggly bits, call them what you want.
Well,
it's still what God gave you, and He put it where the sun don't shine. So nobody else
how is the
should
weather
see it.
today? Right now it's fairly warm out there. No, it's like a half an inch maybe.
No more.
Half an inch. Dan Pierce Lehrman, how you doing? Earl was, no, it's a gift for the whole world to see. Chris Rolfe says his isn't naughty. Well, no, we don't want to just see you in the sock, babe. We definitely don't want to see that. No offense. And I won't do it either. You don't do it, I won't do it. Sound good? Oh my gosh, that would be.
Sounds like trouble.
That would be truly embarrassing. Let's see. Rick was asking about the weather, and that's probably not a bad thing to go to. I can tell you right now, it's going to be cold, rainy, and windy. Yeah. Yep, cold, rainy, and windy. Dance break.
It's my alarm for my kids.
Dance break.
I'm supposed to get up right now.
Oh, okay. Right now it is 41 degrees out here. And it looks like we do have some precipitation off to the north, I think. But my map's not wanting to come up, so we're not going to worry too much about that. Yeah.
It was cute. I actually got to sleep in yesterday, and then my son comes in. He goes, Mom, are we on a 2-hour delay? I said, I know what that means. And I went, hey, Ben, Ellie needs a ride into school.
Oh, nice. In other words, your alarms didn't go off.
But he didn't miss a beat. He was like, fine.
Yep. 53 degrees
Came back
today.
with breakfast. I was like,
yeah.
oh, I love you so much more right now. He's like, I'm making coffee. I was like, see, that right there, because I can't have coffee anymore. So I was like, that right there is payback, I guess.
72 and sun in Key West right now. Today, though, we're supposed to go up to 53, and it doesn't say rain.
You and Chris need to stop. We are not in Florida. We do not have that kind of good weather.
40%.
We had bikini weather. Woohoo! I'm in high heels. No, if it's bikini weather, it's warm enough for me to wear dresses and skirts and put my hair up and be all cute. I do have 6-inch heels. No, I've seen those, though. Have you seen the ones that look like their teeth? They've actually put the teeth in there. They're real teeth that they've put in these the clear backings. So, but they look like mouth.
Yeah, I bet. Water. That means water. Bud Light is not hydration, just so you know.
Now wait a minute. If you get the hard cider, isn't that like? I mean, there's water in there. There's water in the apples, and the apples are pressed.
No. Today,
I'm trying, Chris.
51, 27 for the low, 40% chance of rain. Tomorrow, 39, only 39 for a high, 23 for a low, 30% chance of snow. Sunday, 31, partly cloudy. Monday, 44 and 38. Tuesday, 43, 28. 51 Wednesday. We might get 60 on Thursday, but 50% chance of showers. Then Friday, Saturday next week, we should get into the 60s. So I'm thinking Gatorade or Powerade, but I'll be honest with you, water still is the best. Water is still, because I tell you.
Yeah, but when you're sweating, you need sugar and salt back in.
when I drink
And a lot of
Powerade,
people think it's just water that they need to consume, but it's not. You're losing the sugar and the salt, which helps your body go.
but you know, when I drink Powerade and Gatorade, after I get done with it, I feel like I'm more thirsty. I gotta have more. But water, if I just drink water, I'm good.
See, I feel more thirsty on water, just water alone.
Yeah, mine did drives me out. Water, the Gatorade and the Powerade. And I prefer.
I can do Gatorade, but I can't do Powerade.
I prefer Powerade.
I think I'm the same with you. I think the Powerade makes me more thirsty.
All right. Well, so Marianne, you got your new car. So what'd you do with your old van? Did you shoot it?
It needs to be. I have it. I haven't decided, if we're gonna sell it for parts or just.
Well, if it's the same year, you might want to keep it for parts. If you live out in the country, just keep it for parts. I mean, that way, in case something happens, or you get in a wreck or something. Yeah, you can like weld both vans together. There you go.
My house is gonna fall down before I get kicked out of it.
Well, you're looking.
That's
now.
our next thing.
I was
yeah.
gonna say, aren't you looking?
That's our next thing. As of now, we are actively looking.
You're not taking a big check and investing in your brother's future business, right?
Well, he's having a kid. That's put on hold.
Oh, I guess that would do it. Did he know that? Showing yet?
He's not. He's not showing quite yet. We went out and bought new clothes for the baby.
Oh, okay.
I was like, yay. My youngest is 5, so when we buy baby stuff, I'm like, oh, look how small and cute. And, I got to see my nephew Carter, who's like a month old, for Easter. And,
Yeah, they do. They do have good baby clothes. You're right. Actually, that's one of the things we gave away yesterday at our thing for Modern Woodman. We gave away some Carter gift certificates because we did a little show for Pregos yesterday. Way too much estrogen in the building. Way too much estrogen. But it was fun. I mean, we had a good time. My wife was there with me, and all these young girls pregnant. And what was bad about it is, with Woodman, we offer a plan up to 25 years old. So I could get not only the babies on the plan, but also the mothers too. So I don't know what that says. I'm just making a mere statement there. We do have some.
I wonder how Modern Woodman stacks up against the Gerber.
Oh, we
Gerber
beat
life
the pants
insurance.
off of it.
Really?
Actually, we're Gerber reps. Like if they can't get Modern Woodman, we sell Gerber also.
Really?
Yeah. No, we beat the pants off of it. I love it because Gerber and Globe have both sent us stuff, and when I look at their rates, I'm like, I love it because I even have them. Like somebody says, I want to look at that. Yeah, here, boom. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. You can't beat it. We can insure kids for under $5 a month till they're age 30. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's really good.
And that's boys. Girls, it's 4 and under. So, yeah. And I tell you what, if you're 25 or younger, you need to see me.
I think unless you've had something happen to you, like a loved one has passed away, you don't realize how important it is.
It is, yeah.
And just to stop and realize, just for 3 minutes, just stop and think. If you were to pass away, what would happen?
No.
And I'm not talking, people would cry and people would show up at the funeral. Yeah, but then what?
They got to pay.
They have to pay for you passing away.
Yep.
If you're in a car accident, okay, insurance only covers so much.
No, life insurance will cover you if you die.
But insurance only covers so much.
Yeah.
You've got car insurance if you're in an accident. Okay. Well,
people have insurance on their phones.
Right.
People have insurance on their phones.
But I'm betting more people have more insurance on their phones than. Oh. Well. That just happened.
We just got flashed. We did. We just got flashed. Oh my
Well, that
gosh.
just happened.
Yeah, we did. We got flashed. That's scary. That's scary, 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 scary. And speaking of scary, I got the Record Herald article.
Bob Reinheimer.
He's Bob Reinheimer. He wants to know if we want to tag him. No, we don't want to tag Bob. But Bob, if you're watching, thanks. Appreciate that. Hannah Geiger 5'5", 115 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes, 20 years old, 2006 Honda Civic 4-door tan, Ohio plates HDH 9323 is missing. Washington Courthouse, Hannah Geiger, real pretty girl, 5'5".
I can't see that.
And she is missing from the area, and it's going to go black here in a second. Yep.
So if you guys have seen her, know of her last whereabouts, call in, say something, get the word out. Let's find this missing teenager.
20 years old, yeah, close enough. She is at the. She's missing, but she's from Fayette County, so we tell you, obviously call the Fayette County Sheriff's Office and for that information. And I've lost it all here, so let me see if I can get it back up.
It wasn't my fault.
Let's see. Yep, a 20-year-old area woman has been reported missing and was reportedly last seen in the Washington Courthouse area. Hannah Geiger is described as 5'5", 115 pounds with brown eyes and brown hair. According to a flyer shared by local law enforcement on social media, Geiger has been missing from the Columbus area. So, since March 5th. So she's been gone a month, guys. The Fayette County Sheriff's Office is assisting the Columbus Police Department. According to the flyer, Geiger's last credit card use was March 9th in Washington Courthouse. Calls made to her cell phone reportedly go straight to voicemail. She got a 2006 Civic, and the license plate's HDH 9323. It's a silver to tan color. It's one of those metallic colors.
I've got a niece her age. I can't imagine if my niece was missing.
So be on the lookout, and finally maybe we can find out what's going on.
But I like my niece, so that makes a difference, I guess. Your friends and family, if you like them, I guess that makes a difference.
Scott Michael Dawson's watching. How you doing, Kathy Fisher? Scott Michael, I really loved the beginnings last night. Scott Michael, remember, was on the show here about a month or so ago, month and a half ago, and the country singer writes his own music.
Right.
He did a version of Beginnings last night on his Facebook page, the old Chicago tune. Really good. Really, really good. Cindy Mahanes, how you doing?
Did you know that they're making ketchup by the slice now? By the slice, yes. So a lot of people are upset over this because it's coming in slices. No, it's actually like you've got, your cheese, you're going to peel it off the cellophane, and now you're going to do the same thing with your ketchup. You just peel it off and put it on your plate. A lot of people are upset because, a lot of people are upset because it's so basic. Like, yep.
And it's ketchup.
Yes.
It was like gelatin, probably. I don't think I would like the texture of that.
I think it would have to be dehydrated.
Well, that might be okay, but I'm just thinking like it's a gelatin gummy type ketchup. I don't think I'd like that. I don't like it. Already, I can tell you I don't like it. Senator Peterson joins Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. He's our state senator from this area. On Wednesday, joined in the Ohio Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Commission for a special memorial event honoring King's legacy and celebrating his life's accomplishments. April 4th, 2018 marked 50 years since King was killed at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4th, 1968. The life and legacy of King is a true inspiration, an example of what it means to be a leader and advocate for issues of peace, justice, and equality, said Peterson. Other speakers included Reverend Joel L. King, first cousin of Dr. King, who is a resident of Gahanna, David Jensen of Galena, who led a Chicago delegation on the 63 March on Washington. Jensen serves as chair and founding trustee for the Institute. And the Ohio Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Commission was established in 1985 and has acted as a statewide advocate of Dr. King's principles of nonviolence. Now, Coretta Scott King, you know where she went to school?
Nope.
Right over here at Antioch University
That's awesome.
in Yellow Springs. Yeah, it is pretty neat. At the time, it was a university. I don't know if they've changed it back to a college or what, but yeah. Yep, well, when I went there for some summer school. It was, I think it's been both actually over the years. Well, for teaching, just to keep you gotta keep your stuff up. Gotta keep your stuff up. No, this has nothing to do with that. It's just continuing education. CEUs. So another little story here from Washington Courthouse area. Kaur, K-A-U-R, places top 20 in National Spelling Bee. Navneet Kaur recently competed at the regionals at the Ohio University. The road to Athens was not an easy path, competing against many of her classmates. She was crowned champion of Washington Courthouse Middle School Spelling Bee in December with the winning word, malign. Spell malign, Mary Ann.
No.
Yep, there you go. Well, whenever you want to come on at 7:30, you can come on now. I don't care. Huh? Yeah, we don't really take a break. That's true.
We don't take breaks when
The
we're
only
at our
thing
Wilmington
we're gonna have to do
station.
is figure out
It's
how
a
we're
talk
gonna-
straight through. Top of the hours just for the ID here.
All right.
Michael Wood says, my twin sister says, thank you. She is still taking chemo, but is down to once a week.
What's that now?
Michael Woods.
Yeah. Oh, his sister's down to taking chemo once a week. That's great.
Good. That's great.
That's his twin.
How are you, sweetie?
Yep. Yeah, we did. They were born a year apart, too.
That's why it smells good.
He's not paying any
I
attention.
do like Nautica.
Phil Hoskins, how you doing? Well, we got Bill Dickerson here with us right now. He's out of the picture, but we can still hear him. So, Bill, you're in the big picture up there, okay? This looks so good right now. I'm not going to include you in this picture, but you can still talk with us and everything. Mary Ann's giving him the little technique of how to run the microphone. Yeah, how to turn the microphone on and off and all that. Yeah, you bet. He asked Mary Ann. Mary Ann's giving him just what he asked for.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
He's got one of my favorite colognes on, which is Nautica.
What's that? Nautica?
Nautica for men. I have noticed that I actually have a couple friends that wear Nautica. And I don't like it on Ben. It doesn't smell good on men. If you've noticed, cologne is just like perfume. It's got to be tailored to the person. Some people can wear certain perfumes, and you're like, oh, heavens, wow. And some other people can wear the exact same one, and you're like, oh, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever smelled.
Well, the key is
Nautica does not smell good on Ben, but Angel, let me tell you, that's a honeymoon all over again, people. That's a good smell. But I've noticed, he's got on Nautica. I've got another friend that wears Nautica. Nautica must be really big
It's
with.
the blue kind.
I got
They
on
make
Irish
different
Spring.
kind?
I think they make a yellow and a blue.
Oh. No, we were talking about that earlier. We were talking about being Crayola racist. Crayola, however you want to say it. I am a color racist. And I don't mean the color of your skin. I mean the color like Crayola color. I just said it's Crayola racist. Yellow does not look good on anything, I have found. Yellow doesn't look good on vehicles. It doesn't look good on underwear. It doesn't look good on bras. It doesn't look good on shirts. It doesn't look good in shoes. Yellow is not a very pretty color. It's just not. I have yet to find anything other than banana that it looks good on.
I totally agree. I don't like yellow. Have you seen those? oh, what are they, like the cubes cars that they're like mustard yellow?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Charlie, were you there for that play at the plate last night?
Oh, mercy.
Bill said he's going to pull that up.
He says, "Oh, mercy." In case y'all didn't hear that, that was cute.
And we did catch all the conversation.
Yeah.
What's that?
I like the coach. She's awesome.
What conversation?
She was hot.
What did I
She
miss?
got fired up. I still think
Wilmington's
it was
or Ohio Northern?
Wilmington.
Is it? Did we get all that?
Did you?
So is it uploaded to our website? Can they go see that?
do you
So
edit
guys, go
that
to
out or
Campus
what?
Nation and
No.
what game is it?
It's the second game of the Wilmington, Ohio Northern girls softball game.
You gotta
Okay,
check
the
it
second
out.
game of the Wilmington, Ohio Northern softball game. So, I mean, you should want to watch the whole thing. We cover pretty good, and our announcers are pretty good. So, watch the whole thing. But towards the end is where this heated argument happened.
Well, there was a fly. There was another. Was that in the first game? No, that was in the second game too, where the pop up at the mound and then first and third.
That was
game.
that was just a big collision.
I think she was knocked out cold. Just the way, if you've ever seen someone knocked out before, you know.
Wow.
she was okay, yeah. But I agree with you. I do agree with you. She
One
did
of
look
her-
like she
one
was
of the people
laid
got
out.
knocked out.
Involved one of the twins. Now, I don't know whether it's the one that's a year older or a year younger,
No, she wasn't in that game yet.
but they put her in.
Later. Yeah, later.
You're making fun of.
Collision at the plate between her and the catcher, and they called her out.
Okay. Okay.
I think it was catcher's interference. That's what I would have called it.
Well, I don't think it was catcher's interference either. I think it should have been a no call.
Here's the deal. Did the catcher have the ball? Yeah, it could be catcher's interference.
That's what I thought it was.
The
I mean,
catcher
she was
did not have
blocking
the ball.
the plate.
She was actually going for the ball because it had passed her,
Yeah.
and it was coming to the backstop, and so she was turning and what the umpire said was that she sort of went like this, like she was up and
And you can't do that.
Well, no, but
She was protecting herself, is what she was doing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, a lot of oh really?
You got to
Ooh.
see it. I have a lot of respect for that coach. Plus, I talked to her in between games, and I liked her even then.
You are. You're easy.
You get it. No, you get it.
He's easy except for his wife or his girlfriend. Well, his girlfriend. You know what he calls his girlfriend? The warden. The warden.
Oh, he can try all he wants.
I didn't know. No.
Oh yeah.
I was complimentary.
I still
was
gotta check that
complimentary
out.
about the Ohio Northern team, but the referees that day, they went to the Joe Davis School of Officiating. That's all I gotta say. They were god awful.
Another thing yesterday was really cool, and I tried to get Charlie into it a little more. I wish I would have done more, but is his coaching, man, that was really cool. I learned a lot in that 3 or 4 hour span last night.
Well, good. Well, and anytime, Bill, I try to tell you anything, it's just to help. So
Softball.
don't get mad. You got mad because you're calling big foul balls, foul tips, and you got mad. And it's like we were both picking on him.
we were breaking him in.
Yeah, Bill.
Hold on. There's a fine line between when you're trying to help somebody and when you're just.
No, you got mad on the foul tip.
A foul's a foul. A foul's a foul.
Well, but no, foul tip is like when it's caught by the. That's like that's what I'm trying to explain to you. When you see this, when you see the umpire doing this, that is a foul tip. That's where it's just they get just a little very piece of it. That's a foul tip. Okay, a foul ball is just a normal hit, but it's just in foul territory. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
There is a difference, and I want you to appear to be the most educated broadcaster you can be. So anytime, no, seriously, does that make sense? That's why. So don't get mad on that kind of stuff. Just take it and learn from it, because there's stuff you're going to do that I don't know, and I'm going to learn from you too. That's part of it. Well, no, he knows how to do something. He knows how to do some of this YouTube stuff. I don't know, so I'm going to sit down with him and pick his brain about that sometime.
Oh, and I talked to Charles about off air after and he's down for that. Yeah. I'm so disappointed though. I gotta tell you guys something. I lost my wallet. I cannot find them tickets. Cannot find my wallet. If it's not, it's either in my van or like.
Oh, you are.
Woohoo! Wait.
He won something on a scratcher.
No, he got your wallet.
You found my wallet? Did you?
See, he was pulling your leg.
I wish you would have found it because.
I'm good this morning. I'm just trying to be real. I tell you what, yesterday was nonstop. From the show yesterday morning, I got home from my insurance meeting. I told you guys I went to.
How'd that go?
I got home at 10 o'clock. And yeah, and we'll see. Nice, very nice couple. And a very nice couple. And I don't know that, we'll be able to do anything for them. Yep, we're sitting at the kitchen table. And it was funny because, I don't know. When you don't know people, you got to kind of gain their trust. And we did that, and everything was good. And by the way, I did talk to your stepfather. And I kind of feel bad for him. And he's like most people. A lot of people buy it, and they don't know really what they're buying. And if nothing else, I can explain the differences, of what each is and what you want, and then we go from there. I mean, and there's a lot of people like that just have no clue, what they're getting.
Well, so. I think the general consensus is that you need it, so you just go ahead and buy it. Right. And then you pay your monthly dues, premiums, what have you, right. And you're just like, well, I need it. It's like paying the trash bill. Well, I paid it, now just, it's there.
Right. But a lot of people have no clue what they have. They really don't.
Well, until you're in a car accident, you really are not sure what kind of, what's your car insurance going to cover? Are they going to cover the tow? From where you broke down to the place they're going to fix it? Right, but a lot of people don't know that. Do you have tow assistance for, so many miles away from your home? Mm-hmm. Do you have, can you go to any body shop you want, or do you need to go to specific ones?
Yeah, no, yeah. I do have roadside. That's what
roadside assistance is a big thing. I think it's a big thing. I think it is. If you cannot change your own tire, I think you should have roadside assistance. Hi, Amanda. Love you.
That has tow. I have up to 100 miles.
Oh,
towing.
Amanda says bring you on camera. She can see you, but she can't hear you.
No,
and Charlie, I love you, Charlie. You can't. There's nothing you can say or do that's going to scare me away.
No, I'm just trying to help you. So, yeah, Bill, you're a great guy. You got possibilities here in this. I tell you what, just to get on to another news, I just come across this news story, and this looks like it's crazy. It's by WCPO out of Cincinnati. Zombie-like Ohio raccoons are burying their teeth and walking on hind legs.
Listen to this.
Or raccoons do that anyway. Raccoons will walk on their hind legs anyway.
Well, let's see what the zombie-like behavior is. Lately in Youngstown, Ohio, raccoons' tiny, nimble, humble-like hands, human-like hands, are only the second scariest thing about them. The first, an outbreak of what residents have described as zombie-like behavior involving raccoons who bare their teeth, walk on their hind legs, and don't seem to be afraid of humans. According to WKBN in Youngstown, police have taken more than a dozen calls about these incidents since March. Resident Robert Kogelshow, speaking to WKBN, said he spotted one while he was walking his dogs. He would stand up on his hind legs, which I've never seen a raccoon do before, and he would show his teeth. Then he would fall over backward and go into almost a comatose condition, he said. He would fall over backward. Okay.
That's what they do.
Although raccoons are typically nocturnal animals, many of these incidents occurred in broad daylight. And 28 days later, the superinfective rage virus is an evolved form of rabies transmitted from animals to humans, but the Ohio Department of Natural Resources think it's more likely this odd raccoon behavior is a side effect of canine distemper. Although the disease's name includes the word canine, distemper can affect a number of animals with close evolutionary links to the canine genus, including skunks, ferrets, coons, and even bears. According to the American Veterinary Medical Association, distemper attacks the respiratory, gastrointestinal, and nervous system of infected animals, and eventually causing symptoms such as circling behavior, head tilt, muscle twitches, seizures, and partial or complete paralysis in its final stages. If this diagnosis is correct, raccoons burying their teeth at Youngstown people and pets aren't threatening to eat their brains. They're experiencing facial muscle spasms as their nervous system escapes their conscious control. Distemper is not the T virus, and it's not transmissible to humans, but it's still pretty scary. Pet dogs can catch it from physical contact with affected animals or using contaminated sources of water and food. If you happen to see a zombie raccoon in your neighborhood, it's a good idea to make sure your pup is vaccinated and supervise them closely.
I love it.
Now,
I never heard of such a thing. Have you?
No, I just heard about it a couple days ago. Now, I wonder if the vaccines that you get your cats and dogs
Would work on them?
Yeah, that's scary.
I would have. You would think so.
Now, distemper, isn't that like a skin condition too, like where they lose? Yeah.
I
don't
thought
know,
it was
like they
just
lose
the
their
rabies.
hair or something.
I thought that was all in with the rabies shot.
You know what? Let's find out, because I don't know either, Bill.
Canine distemper.
I'm just going to put distemper in and see what it says.
The Reverend is saying I act that way too.
Huh? What's this? The raccoons found the Tide Pods. There you go. Rick acts that way too. That's only on Tuesdays when Kim's here. Let's see. It's just distemper's it doesn't say anything about skin on this. So here's another picture of these raccoons. Let's see if it'll pop up here. Because this looked like a better picture than the first one. This one was actually bearing teeth.
I was reading an interesting article on possums too, that they have some sort of chemical that like fights off diseases like naturally, I guess
Well,
from
because they'd be scavenger.
that's probably like
scavenger.
they evolved, an evolution part.
Scavenger species. Not in my house though. I kill them.
Oh, they're so nasty.
I kill the possums. I kill the raccoons. Unless they're my cats or my dogs, they don't need to be coming around my house.
And not to change the subject, but I heard you're a doctor.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Psychology.
That's awesome.
Keep talking. I'm diagnosing. It's okay.
Yeah, I know. So I was thinking that too. I gotta watch what I say, or she's gonna really
Just be glad she's
figure
not a
out that I'm
proctologist.
crazy.
You got to be crazy to be a
I love
They do
psychology.
say that.
That was so fun. Did you where did you go to school?
Crown University.
Um,
For the psychology, that'd be Crown. Pick another degree.
do you know? Have you ever heard? He's a local guy, Randall Massey. He's an instructor at Southern State, but
I've heard of him, but I didn't have him.
he's got a practice I want to say Clarksville. I'm not for sure, but he was by far my favorite instructor, psychology instructor.
My favorite instructor wore different, I want to call them costumes, to class every time we saw her.
See, that is cool,
a different one.
It up.
And I'm not talking about, okay, a pair of shoes. I'm talking about full up outfit. Like, he came to school in a Viking costume. He came to school dressed as a chef. He came to school dressed as an elf. Came to school dressed as Santa. Came to school dressed as, every single time we saw this man, he was dressed in a different costume.
See, that's slick.
Yeah, but he wore tights.
What'd you wear? What'd you wear?
He owned the outfit. Like, he was not afraid. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of guys would be, like, kind of timid in him. No, honey, he owned the outfits he put on, it was really cool. At the end, we had to analyze. It was part of the course. Yeah.
Maybe that's an idea we can maybe start doing here on Fridays, like
dressing up,
like a
costume
different, different kind of little theme.
Sure, if you're going to pay for the costumes,
you don't even
those get expensive.
See, that's the thing.
Those get expensive.
See, that's the thing. Like, you can just do it with the stuff you got at home.
I don't know about you, but I do not have that many costumes at home. My kids do.
Well,
yeah.
I do not. Charlie does have a Speedo, and he has said he's not going to wear that outside of their bedroom, which I highly appreciate.
Steve Guerin, Kim Polly, I could never get the daggone thing on or off if I had one of those.
Well, they make it with the snap sides.
Yeah, well, I'd have to snap it or
anybody
cut
who's
it
seen
off.
The Littlest Whorehouse in Texas knows they had them itty bitty snaps on the side.
Dolly Parton movie?
Yes, that is a wonderful movie.
I gotta see
little
that.
itty bitty snaps on the side. But you know what really, like, it's a funny part of that movie is not where she snaps that right off and he's like, what'd you do? It's the fact that he's butt naked under that sheet and he's so timid about being naked. Like, they've had sex together so many times before that in the movie. And he's so shy about seeing him naked. That part in the movie is just adorable. I think it's adorable. It's adorable when guys show sensitivity, I think. A little sensitivity is okay. Now, I'm not here on Tuesdays.
So you're going to be here on every Friday, right?
I'm supposed to be here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But yes, I'm here Fridays.
What's so funny? What did I miss?
Since January, I've missed the Mondays and the Wednesdays. I've been able to make the Fridays, but not the Mondays and Wednesdays.
Well, and that's what Wednesdays we kind of got filled now because Mark Klingler's coming in on Wednesdays now, and
yay!
And also Jerry Keplinger's coming in on Wednesdays. So
it's a full house.
Yeah, but well, so Wednesdays I wouldn't.
I've been fired from Wednesdays.
You haven't been fired. You haven't been coming anyhow. So.
You know what? Here, how about this? Are you down to make like a theme? Charlie probably won't be.
What? What
like
are you
a theme.
About?
Why don't we have our viewers give us some ideas on like themes?
How
what would
dress?
Yeah. What would you like to see us like? What kind of theme would you like to see us dress up as next?
No.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm gonna do it.
This is radio. No.
It's Facebook Live too.
Yeah. No.
And YouTube.
No.
And YouTube. Well, Charlie's not involved, but I'm down.
We promise not to come out and shoot you. I'll tell you that right now. We promise not to come out and shoot you.
You might get banned for.
That was a joke, Bill.
I know it's a joke, but you'd be surprised. Wait till Charles gets into some of the things.
Really?
For real.
What time is he calling in, by the way?
He'll be calling in at 9.
Okay,
But I'm gonna check
cool.
in with him probably
Sure.
a couple minutes before.
Well,
you guys are gonna really like him. He's
Okay.
awesome.
Well, I'll tell you, I've got another story up here from Clinton County, because some of the people do tune in here for some news occasionally. And this kind of interests
What?
me, too.
Wait,
Neighbors interested in Clinton County-owned tower site. Thought this might pique somebody's interest in here. A project to dismantle a decommissioned communications tower on land owned by the county may be a step closer, with neighboring property owners saying Wednesday they're interested in reacquiring the 5 acres. The Dwiggins Road Tower in Union Township, formerly used for public safety communications, is no longer utilized because the county now has a digital radio system called MARCS, Multi-Agency Radio Communication System, which has its own towers. The neighboring property owners, Herman and Pauline Shea Doak, attended a discussion Wednesday between the county commissioners, their legal counsel, the assistant prosecuting attorney, where the tower was the topic. 2 commissioners told the Dokes the tower needs to come down, either due to potential safety issues or because the tower over time would be an unused and thus unmaintained eyesore. Clinton County Commissioner Brenda K. Wood said the lack of bidders when the county twice invited price offers on the tower site tells her private companies in the communication industry do not see a profit in it. One of the main reasons she recently voted no to the Dokes' offer of $110 for the site, said Woods, is because without a user, the tower in 5 or 10 years will become an eyesore. Here's this large tower that no one is maintaining. It becomes an eyesore, and people will think it's still county-owned. The Dokes made their offer during the second round of bid offers. Commissioners subsequently voted 2-1 against accepting the Dokes' offer, with Commissioner Patrick Haley casting the 1 vote in favor. On Wednesday, Clinton County Commissioner Kerry R. Steed said he thinks the tower poses some safety issues with regard to tower guide wires located on the Dokes' property and with regard to passing motorists and others exposed to unmaintained, uninspected tower structure. Haley stated Wednesday that according to the Doak family, during construction of the tower, the contractor inadvertently placed a guide wire, a tension cable, on part of their property that was not part of the land purchase. The Dokes have said this mistake was brought to the attention of the contractors at the time, the commissioner added. The mistake now makes it difficult, if not impossible, for a tower demolition company to enter onto the property to demolish the tower without obtaining the Dokes' permission. The company recently said they were reluctant to even enter the property. Haley said a radio tower company recently submitted an estimated $6,000 to dismantle the tower. It is anticipated there will be an additional cost to haul the disassembled tower away. Now, after turning down the Dokes' bid previously, the county must spend taxpayer money to dismantle the tower and have it hauled away, stated Haley. Mrs. Doak said Wednesday a key reason they want to acquire the land is to be officially designated a farm by having more than 10 acres. Currently, she said they have 9.1 acres, and the additional land would put them over the threshold. She also said if the tower is coming down, she and her husband would appreciate an opportunity to somehow acquire the land. So, to me, I see an easy thing here. $6,000 to tear it down. They pay $6,000 for the land. It's a done deal. That's if I'm a county commissioner, I'd say, okay, look, $6,000, and you guys have to have it hauled away. Because 5 acres, that'd be cheap for 5 acres, wouldn't it? That'd be real cheap. Charlie would look much better as Santa. Thank you, Chris Reynolds. I love you too. I cried a little when Mary Ann talked about sensitive men. Does that count? And then he's winking. He's winking. I don't know about Chris. What do you think? Reynolds, Chris Reynolds. So what would you guys offer? You got 5 acres you can acquire. There's a tower on it. What would you offer? I don't know what the going price of land is right now in Clinton
Is
County.
the tower yours?
Probably 10 grand. So you can get.
Is the tower yours?
No, it's not
What
yours.
kind?
You have to take care of the tower if you buy the property. And
But the tower's not yours.
Well, if you buy the property, the tower's yours, but it needs to either be maintained or come down.
What kind of tower is it?
It's a big radio tower. Where's it at, Rick? You said you knew where it's at. Where's it at?
Well, the tower that took its place is the big tall tower that you can see as you're heading out 22 off to where Chad Carey lives.
Yeah.
Like AT&T and like a tower for that?
It's like a cell phone tower, this is?
And it's not being used anymore?
It's county equipment on it, yeah. So it's not like one of these big, tall, well. It's not a monopole. Yeah, it's not one thing going up. It's
And it's guy, meaning there's wires that
yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
wires are the thing because
$6,000 they said to take it out. Eric, how you doing? Eric Krasinski listening to us this morning from Poland.
That's awesome.
Yeah, how you doing, Eric?
How you doing?
So yeah, that's kind of a.
I don't know.
What would you do?
If the tower was yours, you had, full say over who gets to use your tower.
I'd call Rick.
That's one thing, but if you've
Rick
got
might be interested in it.
if you've got material on the property that's not yours that you can't do anything with, why buy it? Why buy the property?
Hey, Rick?
Somebody's using your property. They're not paying you for it, but they're going to keep their stuff on it.
Is that too
And you're responsible for the upkeep? No.
No, you don't want that, Jerry.
So are they going to make a deal on this property since this tower's on there? Is that what they're saying?
Well, they've already offered to.
Charlie's banana.
Yeah.
a farm cuts your taxes down.
Now I'm out of the picture.
And so that's why it's worth them purchasing the property so they can be considered a farm.
Well, I'd have to think about it. I'm pretty good friends with, his name's Matt Matthews. He lives in Blanchester. He owns Grimm Tower, and that's his job. He works on towers and stuff like that,
You might want to mention something. Rick ought to go talk to the commissioners.
So I'd probably
See
talk
if
to him
they
first.
might just donate it to you. Well, because we are doing. Let's face it, we're here in Wilmington today. You are doing a community service, and see if they would be willing to donate the emergency. Well, that's true. Well, I'm trying. I'm
Just
trying.
me.
Trying.
Just me.
Trying to give them some news, but now I think you would want to, maybe inquire about that.
And I know a guy that
Rick,
does
Bill
that
knows a
for
guy.
Hey,
for
have you
a
heard anything
living,
from Jack
fixes,
Bill lately?
maintains
I
towers
haven't
like that.
seen him on.
No.
I haven't heard it. Like he's.
He comes on occasionally. There's a story
he's-
behind that we can talk about off the air.
Oh.
Yeah, that's an off the air story.
Oh.
Oh, one of our watchers, Jack. He's always welcome, Jack Dill. But yeah, we've got there's a little off the air story, and really it's not a big deal, but it's an off the air story.
Oh.
You need to get Bill in the face. There you go. There he is. He's over there.
Kind of in the picture, but I'm trying to.
Well,
lean
you can
over,
scoot your
so-
chair over. Mary Ann doesn't bite.
I'm not trying to sit on Mary Ann's lap.
Mary Ann, trust me, doesn't want that. What's wrong with this picture?
She's the rose, and we're the two thorns,
Oh, there you go.
What's wrong with you guys?
right?
I'm not gonna say anything here.
Come on,
do
Charlie,
bite
let's
stuff.
hear it.
Steve
You know what? I'm not going to take offense to that anymore because I do bite. So.
There you go. Early, we're doing the top of the hour early. This is the almost top of the hour.
Top of the hour to ya.
106.9 WZAA LP, Jeffersonville.
We're back.
Quick, Bill.
was so-
Did you turn
that
your
was
mic
a-
off?
That was a quickie.
That was a ride in the wave short break.
That was
wasn't
right
it?
away.
That was a quickie.
No, they got it easy. Shoot, they have like 4 or 5 breaks an hour. I mean,
I know.
This
That's
is
the bad
this is
thing.
hard compared to that. Yeah, there's not much airtime.
That's
on
why
those
we're
shows.
high impact here.
Robert Lagon, how you doing, man? Rick Hogue, what's going on? Well, what's everybody doing this weekend? Bill was going to go to a concert until he lost his wallet.
I got the warden actively searching.
The warden is actively searching.
Not
That's
at
what he
this
said.
second. I lost my wallet. I can't find the tickets.
Yeah, he is.
I'm
glad I
promise
didn't
I'm
want 'em.
not. I'm really trying to get them found. I'm sorry.
There you go. Am I going to get in trouble? I'm using my banana as a gun.
It says here
I know why he's so
on the news
freaking
journal,
active.
it says cats clobber G-men. I guess that's a
That would be Wildcats.
clobber the.
Blanchester.
So, y'all, the Dayton's Dragon game is this Sunday. Y'all need to go and catch it. Yay!
What's going on? You like the
Her
dragons?
son is
No.
singing.
Is it like
Yeah.
is he in the choir or something?
Yeah,
See, my
his-
little niece did that last year. That's
His
slick.
singing group is going up there and singing the national anthem.
That's really
They're
cool.
going to open them.
And you got tickets too, right?
Well, I have parent tickets, which is really weird.
You'll sit on it while we
He's
sat.
going in an hour before I'm allowed to go in, and I think we go in an hour before it starts. To me, that's way too long to hang around a ballpark, a
Have
stadium,
you ever been
whatever.
there before?
No.
They're in a bad seat in the place.
Now, if you have to sit in the grass, they'll bring you a blanket. Well, some of the
What?
seats are lawn seats.
What? Why?
Outfield.
You have little smaller children?
I'm not going.
Oh, you're not.
I'm
Oh.
not going.
Wait a minute,
I'm gonna
you're
make
telling
my
everybody
husband
else-
go.
You're telling everybody else to go, and then you're
That's
not going.
because my kid is
What the
singing. You
heck?
need to go and see my kid sing.
You should go. Yes. You
Oh,
should
and
go.
and you know the guy's playing the game, of course, but mostly because my kid is.
So you're not going.
No,
Wow.
no, I'm not going to no baseball
Slick,
game. If
it's
we're
fun
not, we're
time.
not even covering the baseball game. Why would I go?
Dude,
Because
now,
your kid's singing the
well, that-
Star Spangled Banner. That's why.
that
Yeah,
is
but
cool.
That's
What school does your children go to?
right down the road to Holmes. Right now,
Oh,
my
okay.
kids go to Holmes.
Oh,
Now, my kids
you
go to
shouldn't have
Holmes.
said that, Bill.
Next week, however, or next year, however, I've
They
got
might be
3
going to
kids
East
in
Clinton.
3 different schools.
Oh, they might be going to East Clinton.
They might be if I can find a good place. I would love to be in East Clinton District next
Anita
year.
Ryman, how you doing?
At least
Anita?
my kids would be going to one school. One
That's not-
school.
That's not necessarily true because how old are your kids? What grades are they going to be in next year?
Next year they will be in kindergarten, 3rd grade,
10th grade.
6th grade, and 10.
So they'll be in 3 different schools.
Next year here they
No,
will be.
They'll be in
and-
3 different schools at East Clinton.
Right.
Yes.
Elementary, middle, and high school. That's in the same place, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll have 2 in the same school. My
Two-
girls will
2
be in the same school.
and then you'll have 1 in the middle school and 1 in the high school.
Yes. No, it won't be. In Wilmington, my girls will be split. And Andy will be in
So
the
you'll-
middle
yeah,
school
you'll
and
have-
one will be in the high
You'll
school.
be in 4 schools.
Yes.
1 in middle, 1 in high.
I'll take 3
2 of the
schools.
others.
And what's good
Well,
about East Clinton
2 of
is
those
that
schools are the same place too.
for the next 2 years, at least, my girls will be in the same school. So that's 1 pickup for 2 kids. I've actually thought about
Band
that.
schooling?
I could do that if my kids were not like social butterflies. That's the only reason that I think public school right now in Wilmington is doing for my kids. My kids get to see their friends. I can only do so much. I could teach my kids. I have masters in education.
Oh, wow.
I have no problem teaching my kids. The problem is that my kids won't get that much socialization from home.
Right. You could be like a principal, couldn't you?
I could. You only need a master's. I believe you need a master's to be a principal.
Right, but it has to be in administration.
Oh,
Yeah,
does it?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yes.
Now, what does your background, what did you do? Were you a principal?
Oh no, I didn't want to be a principal.
What?
No,
what
he
did-
was the fun teacher.
I was a teacher. Yeah.
He
Teacher,
was
31
the fun
years.
teacher. He had band, chorus,
Now you were his
music
student?
sometimes. Yep.
Yeah.
At one time.
Oh wow,
yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, me, two of my sisters.
Did you give detentions out a lot or not?
No.
You let a lot of stuff
No.
fly.
He
much
didn't get
headache.
detention now. He was just like, look, you either know your music or you don't.
Right.
Bye.
Well, and I tell you what, our education
teacher.
system, our education system's so soft right now. If you didn't handle your own discipline, you would if you count like on the principals or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
9 times out of 10, you weren't going to get backed up. So you just handle it.
Really?
You just handle it on your own and go on. And the principals love me for that because I never took them any of my problems.
Well, I think
31 years of teaching, I probably took kids to the office maybe a half a dozen times, maybe. And most of the
Wow,
time,
you've already taught 31 years.
Yeah.
You don't.
I love the way he taught. It was really good. It wasn't one of those classes where you needed to know the material inside and out to pass a test. Because he was band or choir, it was, if you want to learn this, I'll teach you. If you don't sign up next year.
Yep,
And
enjoy
you're not
it.
going to do anything. You know, we had concerts, we had stuff like that, and that was fun. But if you didn't know the material, you just didn't go.
Right.
Which meant your grades suffered, but it was fun. He made music fun. He had the current music. I mean, when I was in, Men in Black was coming out, and we had Men in Black like 6 months after the movie came out. We were doing it on the field. We had
I love that song.
Margaritaville.
Yep. You were
I
in that.
love the
We
Margaritaville
did the whole
one.
Jimmy Buffett show.
We did.
You know, I played tuba, but
I can see that.
and I was
I can
really
see that.
interested in it. But you know, the instructor, like I never really was. I didn't know how to read music.
Who
you
did
know.
you have over there?
Well, originally her name was Stephanie Dinsmore,
Yeah, I
and
know
she was
Steph, yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
And then I forget his name, but he just I don't think he really cared.
I still can't do music if I don't label them. If I label them, then I can do them. But if I don't label them, I don't know what notes are what. So
I didn't understand how to read music though.
Well, most of us just know the alphabet. Todd Blocker, Bill just pulled the grenade pin. We start talking about Wilmington schools.
yeah.
This is kind of cool. I didn't know this happened. Laurel Oak students collaborate to create show truck, which they had this
Yeah.
out at my Chaz's Valentine's Day show. But they were Laurel Oaks instructor Gary Bronson got a 2000 International Pro Star for his high school program. He knew that the truck would become a project for more than just his industrial diesel mechanic students. And after months of work, the truck made its debut at a recent Cavalcade of Customs Auto Show in Cincinnati and participated in this week's annual Findlay Market Parade to celebrate the beginning of the baseball season. The truck was purchased by Great Oaks in 2017 to provide the diesel program students with a chance to learn on a recent model vehicle. Bronson quickly involved others as his students completed the truck's required annual inspection, replaced the brakes, polished the wheels and wiring, new lighting. Other Laurel Oak students got busy. Welding students built a mounting system for the rear fenders, built a headache rack for the back of the cab, and used a CNC plasma cutter to cut designs into the rack. Auto collision technology students prepped and painted the rear fenders. Digital arts and design students designed and created graphics for the truck's side and a current career-ready banner for the front. Computer service technician and networking students set up a video display with the truck. Career X students helped with the truck ready for public viewing. And the students were involved as part of the Skills USA project. It was a great experience, said one of the digital arts students who developed the graphics. It was a chance to do a real-world project, and I feel like we're leaving our mark on the school. With Bronson's vision and the students' work, Great Oaks now has a truck for industrial diesel students to sharpen their skills on, as well as a rolling reminder to the community of the professional skills and talents these high school students have. And it only took me 7 years of proposing the project to make it a reality, Bronson laughed. And that's cool.
That's
That
awesome.
truck is neat. It was out at my car show. And they've got stuff on the back here that lights up.
I absolutely love it when they take kids that are learning their trade and they're letting them apply them in the real world. So, I mean, because look, I'm 35 and I do not use algebra every day. So I think my algebra teacher lied when I was in high school and she said, you will use this in the real world. I've probably used it once, and that's probably to help my kids through their school. English, I use that every day. Science, you almost use it every day. If you're cooking, you really use that every day. But as far as, you know, you don't use history every day. It's good to know. It's really good to know, because those who don't know history is doomed to repeat it. But algebra, you don't use every day. We need to teach these kids real world knowledge today, not when they get out of school. We should not start their adult education when they're out of school. That needs to start before their school. You don't teach a baby to run before he learns to walk. And you don't teach a child to walk when they're 5. So we need to teach these kids how to be adults before they're adults. I'm not saying take away their childhood, but we need to teach them how to be adults before they're adults.
Joe Holdren, how you doing today out there?
I'm staggered by the number of adults, new adults, that don't know how to be adults. They don't know how to change tires. They don't know how to pay taxes. They don't even know if they need to pay taxes. They don't know how to get a job. And job integrity, it seems like nobody has. It's like if you're in your early 20s, you're not taught to keep your job. You have to pay for car insurance. You have to pay for your car. You have to pay rent. And they're living at home. They're not paying rent. They don't care. They just get a job and drop it because, you know, something went wrong at work today. So they're not keeping their job. I feel like job integrity and morals are not taught early on. And I feel like if we teach those earlier, they'll be ingrained better. Am I wrong? Am I saying too much here? You guys are silent.
I'm not getting in the middle of this thing.
You just came in.
Did you? Was this a cookie or something you ate?
That was Mary Ann's, yes.
Oatmeal.
Mary Ann's
oatmeal
with
with the cream in the center.
Chris Evans, how you doing?
I like
Thanks
those.
for coming on
Benny bought
today.
me
Why didn't you
big
bring one
old
for me?
box of 'em.
Yeah. Oh, Ben got you a big old box of them. That's nice. How did he, by the way, on that free pizza giveaway?
How'd
he
he
didn't.
survive
He didn't look
that?
very happy.
Oh, he was so upset.
Oh wow.
They just this Wilmington office, they did 303 lunch orders. Free lunch orders.
Charlie got through.
300.
How long did it take you, Charlie?
Free lunch orders.
You know, it took us maybe 5 minutes from picking up our coupon to going through and getting the pop and out. It was quick. They had it very well organized. They did.
Of course
Especially
they
at the
did.
cash register, right?
Yeah, Ben was doing the cash register. Chuck Canette, how
Ben
you
said he
doing?
didn't see you.
Dean
He said if he
Thompson.
saw you, you must have been in the flurry.
No,
of
I
people
didn't.
that came.
I
He didn't go
I
through.
didn't go through. I ate lunch at my favorite coffee shop.
Oh. By the way, tell people where it is because Zach, he's going to tell you where it is. We were talking last night. He's like,
Corner
"Where's
of
that
Lincoln
coffee
Street.
shop?"
Well, it's on. It's not on Lincoln.
It's not on Lincoln?
It's Walnut, isn't it?
If you okay,
It's right next to the.
pass
It's right next to the on.
past Song and Story. It is the
Right.
first right.
It's
Across
where.
the street from the
First
historical
street on the
society.
right.
Yeah, it's in the old funeral home.
He's not from Wilmington.
Oh, okay. Well, then
Across the street from
He
the
lives in
historical
Wilmington, but he's
society.
not.
it's Kava House. Just GPS it. I had some delicious
Kava
soup
House.
yesterday and some focaccia bread and my usual dark roast black coffee.
I'm not okay
So
with
good.
that, but I'm okay with their dirty.
Brad used to
coffee.
be a bartender for me when I had Samuel Walker. So now he's mixing coffee instead of mixed drinks. Yeah. Yeah.
It's-
So Charlie's
it's
eating his
all
banana?
so good.
Yeah. And Bill Dickerson is out trying to pick
That's
up a signal.
The dirty chai I was talking about. It's called the White Buddha.
Yeah.
Number 2.
I don't
White
even know.
Buddha.
I don't know why. You know, it's like coffee is great. It's
amazing.
black. It's perfect. And why would you mess it up with sticking a lot of stuff in it? You know?
Because coffee that's black is nasty.
No,
It's bitter. It's gross.
no. It depends on the coffee. Did you get it, Bill? Yeah.
What's a bar?
Yeah, or it can be a QR code scanner too, but just scan that code and that'll get you on a. Am I expecting someone? Is there someone here? In a white Hyundai? I don't know unless. Oh, okay. Well, as long as I hope he steals my car because I could use a new one. Well, I mean it's 3 years old. It's getting old.
Mine's 13 years old.
No, it's like his girls. He doesn't like them to be over 15.
Oh.
The younger, the better.
Oh.
Yeah, Mary Ann.
Dang.
All right. 18.
Hey, it is a corner
Just
of Lincoln.
over.
Is it the corner of Lincoln?
That's why I said Lincoln Street. And then
Yeah.
you guys made me think
I don't
was
know.
wrong. Corner of Lincoln and Locust. Chris Evans has got it right there.
Oh yeah, Chris
If
Evans.
you want
Hey,
to
Chris.
stop off and get me a white Buddha at the moment,
No, they're.
I thought you were
Well, they
married.
are open.
please.
I
They
thought you
are
were
open.
married.
Please. They open at 7. Please.
A white Buddha?
How do you know they open at 7?
Is that my
Have you
name?
been there
The
since
White
I
Buddha?
took you there? No. You've only been there since I took. Yeah, see, that was our first date. Ben, don't take that wrong. She's way too old for me. She's how old? 35.
I'm 35.
Whew.
I'm too old for you.
I know. That's a. Yeah. You and Rachel both. Yes, Charlie. You want to say something with?
No, I'm just eating my banana and being quiet.
So anyway, we did a doubleheader.
Chris Rolfe, hold on a second. This is fun. Or Chris Evans, this goes along with what you said.
Uh-huh.
Black coffee is the nectar of the gods.
That's right. That's right.
It is good quality beans. Okay.
Exactly.
Sorry, go ahead and do the double.
And Joe's Java there at Sugar Tree Ministries, they've got, of course, they don't actually roast it anymore. I think Jeff Tewksbury is in the roasting business now, and I haven't had any of his coffee that he's roasted. But anyway, yes, I love my coffee. That's one of my only vices.
Maybe we can get somebody from the Kava House to
Thank you, Chris Evans. I'll be the white Buddha. That's fine.
coffee and
And talk about it. That's right. Well, and Brad's probably, because he's a teacher. He's.
Come down and be on the show and bring some samples like Mary Ann just said.
That's right. That's right.
Can you make my sample a large white Buddha?
Yeah. That's what we'll do. Because Charlie, he's always tried to hook us up with places that serve breakfast so that we can do our remotes at breakfast
That would be
places.
an excellent idea.
Well, anything that
Beautiful
has to do
idea.
with free food is Charlie.
Bill's ready to go.
Bill's ready to hook us up. Bill, you're only here on Fridays. Oh, you're a sweetie. The spot is they can come in and talk. I mean, Charlie does it all the time. He brings in his insurance cronies and his
Bring in
car show
everybody.
people, and that's part of the show.
Well, we're supposed to be a community organization.
Oh, absolutely.
We're right. In 2 weeks from today, we do have a guest coming in. We have the lady from the Farm Bureau coming in.
That's right. Yeah, she's going to talk about
And
farms.
she might come and do like a weekly thing or every other week thing. Real nice girl. Real nice girl.
Yeah, and I talked with Trevor
Lady
Shoemaker the other day. Trevor is he does a lot of the stuff like the farmers market and the what's the thing on the wall, the mural or whatever. They're meeting, I think, this next week, and so Trevor might be coming in, and hopefully, because I was talking with our landlord yesterday, and hopefully we can make this, we can start our weekly thing here so that we're not going back and forth. All the live shows will be done here until the tower goes up in Jeffersonville. So in the meantime, we're going to be here for that and our
So when's
sales
that
show.
gonna start? When do you want to do that?
Well, this morning I got here and I couldn't even get in the building.
Oh, that's
It was
not
locked.
good.
I had to get him up at 6 a.m. to come over and open the building up. What happened was there's a
should
gentleman.
have a key.
Well, and that's what I talked about yesterday. There's a gentleman that has a key, and he must have thought that Brett left the door unlocked because he must have locked it. Brett, I'm sure, had it unlocked last night. He comes in and turns the heat up and puts them in on the pillow and everything for us.
Free Food Friday, Todd Blocker says. Speaking of which, I need to get up there and meet with you because I got that thing for Toots. I think it's what it's called in Beaver Creek. Is it Toots?
Tooties.
Tooties, is that what it is?
Yeah, Toots is down on.
Yeah, there's a restaurant up there.
Yeah.
I need to get up there with Todd sometime, and
Yeah.
because he's a lot of fun. We talked at the car show, and I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
Did you get on, Bill? Did you get on the network? Okay. Oh, all right. Well, that's good. Bring them on. We're up to like 60,000 already. No.
Bill, I'm with you, babe. Go ahead.
Yeah, bring them on. Bring them
Ben
on.
Dotson's on watching. Ben, so you survived Free Pizza Monday, right? 300, what'd you say? 300?
303.
303 free pizzas and pops given out last Monday by Little Caesars.
Just here.
Thank you.
At
Just
this one.
yeah, not at the one up in
Thank
Washington
you.
Courthouse. Just here.
Thank you, University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
That's right. First time ever, a 16 beats a number one, and not just a number one because there were 4 number ones. It was the number one, Virginia. Yeah,
So that's why they were giving out free.
that's right.
Chris Evans is like, Todd Blocker, where's the free food?
Chris,
Chris, is right
Chris,
here.
you're bringing it into us, aren't you?
Chris is a man after my own heart.
Chris knows where the News Journal is. Just
Dave
bring it.
Hurst is on there.
Bring it right
Morning
here.
Kids.
Yeah.
Dave Hurst, I'm sure he's always up for some free food.
Yeah. Well,
No comment. Remember 50-cent wings every Wednesday. I try to get out there at 12:15.
we were there.
Week.
Oh, you were
This
late,
week
late,
I was
late.
a little late, and I apologize for that.
But I don't eat the wings. I mean, I like wings, but I don't eat the wings there.
Yeah.
I eat the pizza.
They've got a great
buffalo chicken.
pizza.
Yeah.
That buffalo chicken pizza.
Oh, it's
is the
delicious.
bomb.
And then they've got pretzel sticks. We like those too. Yeah.
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 Cole does a nice job. And that's a little hidden gem. Most people in Wilmington don't. You say MCs, and they're like, "What's that?"
Yeah. Yeah. And we're in the process. We're going to be installing some of our new screens there, and we've got 6 of them that are going in the newly remodeled bowling alley. These are screens that will have our Campus Nation sports on them, and maybe
morning
some
show,
sponsors. Well, yeah, we might
Need
try
run
to.
a replay of the morning show. every
Yeah,
day.
most businesses aren't open that early, but anyway.
Like run it from 10 to 1 or something.
Yeah. But anyway, but
He's like, yeah, no way. Mary Ann gets in too much trouble. Or comrade.
it would be Kim.
Comrade Kim, yeah.
Yeah. No, seriously, we do just like what we talked about earlier. I mean, it's not something that you probably want to be sitting there eating a pizza at Generations and your kids are all around and we're talking about the color of underwear. Yeah.
Which should never be green.
Especially not when you're eating.
Yellow.
Green
Shouldn't be green.
shouldn't be green or yellow,
Shouldn't
probably.
Be yellow.
Brown's not good either, especially when they're originally white.
Okay. Well, all right. So here we go again. I keep trying to get us off track, and Charlie's giving us.
Racing stripes.
Got a great point. And if it's older than a year, take it out of your drawer and throw it away.
Especially when it starts getting holy.
Okay.
Sheriffs ever do that? Start getting holy?
Well, yeah,
Have we done,
I have lace.
have we done any
You
courthouse
put your
news,
hand,
Charlie?
you put your finger right through
do we have any?
lace and
Can we?
it rips it.
Can we?
Lace underwear is only
Can-
good
can-
for one use.
Okay.
After that, just throw it away.
Like I said, Mary Ann would get us kicked off.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
No, there's
I'm
not
a-
a woman alive that has not worn lace underwear or a lace bra. You wear it once and you go to adjust it and your nail goes through the lace. It's ruined. You go to pull them up or pull them on for the first time and your hand
Pull
goes
'em up.
through the lace.
Pull what up?
Your underwear, lace underwear.
thought she
I mean,
was
it
talking about
goes
something
for the lace thigh highs too. That everybody thinks is so sexy.
Well, I'll tell you what.
And it takes
I
forever to get it on.
I'm
and
a-
your finger goes.
I am
right
an
through the
expert
lace.
of one-handed unsnapping, front or back. I can say that.
Okay.
And I don't poke any holes in them.
Okay.
All right. Now that shut her up. So now we can do news.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah, but there's nothing in the news.
Well, yeah, this is kind of cool.
Is this Fayette County?
Actually, this is the whole area.
Oh, okay.
And, there's a lot of wind blowing in here this morning. So this is
Yes, there is.
National Weather Service.
We're all very windy this morning.
Tornado touched down near Xenia. And actually, not only one, but around 4 here in Ohio.
When was this?
On the 5th, National Weather Service survey teams have
Yesterday.
confirmed at least 4 tornadoes slammed through parts of Ohio. The strongest appeared to be in Grove City near Columbus, which is
No, that was the
guy
other
said
day. That was when
yesterday.
I was under the table
Yeah.
up at the studio.
It had estimated winds of 100 to 110 mile per hour that damaged Hundreds of homes, buildings, and utility poles. Wow. Yeah, Grove City. Another tornado.
Which is just north of us.
Yep, touchdown north of Xenia, damaging several barns and killing 5 sheep. One near Selma in Clark County, that was probably the one by South Charleston, destroyed a barn and damaged several other buildings. The National Weather Service reports that a tornado had touched down briefly in Madison County near London, damaged several barns.
That was the one that we had the live video on.
The weather has turned colder across Ohio, and forecasters in Wilmington say in Thursday's advisory that a weekend winter storm watch is possible.
There's Mr. Walton.
Snow. All right.
Oh, and see, they're doing a side-by-side, and he's using the same internet you're using. I don't know. So anyway, all right.
Bill Dickerson, he's going to have his.
We'll have him
here
on
in just
shortly.
A few minutes, yeah. So that's going to be interesting. See how that works out.
Beaver Creek Browns backers? I didn't know there would be any Beaver Creek Browns backers.
What's it say?
Oh, and Chris is saying underwear Y brother. Okay, so Chris is Commando. Commando Chris is what we'll call him from now on. We've got our we've got Kim, who is
she's the comrade.
She's Comrade Kim,
make sure
and
we
now
keep that
Chris
straight.
is Commando Chris. Commando
That's
Chris.
a little bit too much.
Okay, Chris.
A little bit of too much information.
I hope you wear dark jeans.
The Reds got beat again last night.
Oh, imagine that. Have they won one game this year so
they've
far?
won one. They beat the Cubs one game.
That's good. And it's always good you beat the Cubs. If you're going to beat anybody, beat the Cubs.
Yep.
I don't like the Cubs.
And probably my favorite golf tournament to watch, and I'll probably bore my wife and kid, but I'll
The Masters.
watch some of this on Sunday, I would say.
I think Tiger's up there too.
I'm not sure. Let me see if it says here. But
Are we boring you?
Jordan Spieth, back in his comfort zone as Masters. Well, it's so pretty.
It is. It's a beautiful course. Yeah.
Each
Green.
Each hole is named after a flower, and they have different flowers all
If
around.
you squint and you're looking at the people, they look like little flowers in a field. Because they're all wearing bright little pastel colors.
Tiger Woods attracted most of the attention, but Jordan Spieth caused the most concern. Opening day at the Masters had a wide open field until Spieth hit his stride Thursday afternoon. He saved 3 straight pars with a superb short game. He ran off 3 straight birdies to take the lead. Then he fired an 8-iron at the pin on the par 3 16th, letting the club twirl through his hands as he walked away.
Oh, give me one of
Knowing
those.
Only that it was another good one. He plopped down 5 feet away. You don't know where it's going to end up, he said, but you know it's going to be good in that position. Spieth took only 10 putts on the back 9. Wow. He made 5 straight birdies, a career best for him in the majors. Even a bogey on the final hole felt like a par the way he navigated out of the trees. I guess Sergio Garcia took a 15.
Yeah, that was a mess there. So Ben is saying that Illinois, which is where he is from originally, is talking about raising taxes again. Imagine that.
Again.
Yeah, I love those blue states. Yeah.
So aren't they the highest?
Well,
tax?
they're one of the highest.
I thought they
New
were
York,
the highest.
New York and New York City is probably where most of the highest taxes are. But people are fleeing these states, these blue states that are just absolutely going crazy with taxes, and they don't stop. They don't stop. And the sad part about it is that a lot of the raise in taxes is because they're supporting so many people that don't pay taxes, and they shouldn't even be in this country in the first place.
Yeah.
But they vote Democrat, so hey, why not? Yeah. And
Makes
what
sense.
the sad part about it is one of the biggest new bubbles that we will see in the future will be these unfunded pensions. And there are going to be states that have paid these pensions forever and ever, and they are going to expect all U.S. taxpayers to cover the state of California or Illinois or New York.
Kentucky's having that issue right now with their teachers.
Unfunded pensions.
Yeah, they're pensions that you are promised when you obviously retire, and
that you pay into all the years you work.
Yeah,
but then the government decides to spend that money.
It's sort of like Social Security, it has an average return of like 3% over its history. Yeah. Anyway,
well, you don't even count on. If you're counting on Social Security, you're on.
Well, if you're 50 or younger, don't count on it because you're not going to see it.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
If you're 50 or younger, you are not getting
But you know
Social
that,
Security.
and the young people have a reason to be
I'm
upset.
53. I'm in.
Young people have a reason to be upset because
Yeah.
you look what Obamacare was doing to young people, making them pay for insurance, that they didn't want to pay for,
Yeah.
they didn't, in most cases, didn't need, so that old people like Charlie could be taken care of in his old age.
Thank you.
And then they're robbing these young people of their futures, by spending money that they don't have. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, Chris says they're raising funds for gun confiscation in Illinois.
Social Security.
Stir him up, Chris.
Social Security had a big bank. At one point in time, everybody was putting money into it, and you could take it out.
It was because of the
funds were
numbers.
there.
It was because of the employed numbers. The people that were employed then, there were a lot more
Matched,
people
right.
paying in than there were
yeah.
removing.
Well, hold on. You were 100% correct in that.
Of course.
And the problem is that the government said, hey, we're going to borrow from Social Security and we'll give it back. We'll give it back, people. Trust us. We're the government. We'll give it back. So, people signed off on their taxes to be used for more taxes
I
to
didn't
come
sign
out
anything.
of Social Security. Whether you voted that way or not, that's what happened because you didn't vote. And if you did vote, not enough people voted against it to not pass it. So it got passed. The money came out of Social Security. And then before that, they did the same thing with homes. You used to own your home flat out. You owned. When you bought your home, you bought the land, the home. There was no home tax. There was no property tax. There was nothing like that.
Well, what we didn't have federal taxes before 1935.
Right.
So
that's what I'm thinking. So, but that was promised to go away. That was only supposed to be for
So we said?
5 to 10 years,
okay.
and then it was supposed
we saw
to go
your
away.
feed here, so you had them side by side. Yeah.
When it was supposed to go away, the people forgot that it was supposed to go away because they had it really good. All of our boys were coming back. We were just out of stuff. It was right before the war. So nobody realized, hey, this is supposed to go away. And because nobody realized it, the government was like, well, we're going to make it indefinite. So they kept it like that. If people were to push, they could get the land taxes back. We could get our property taxes back.
You mean
and
where we're
make it
not
stop.
paying the taxes? Well, I don't know
So-
how do you fund schools?
Not by property taxes or land
Well,
taxes. We pay school taxes. Those are different from your land taxes.
That's your property.
Yeah, property taxes is what pays for
No.
schools.
Yeah.
When
Well,
we pay
that
taxes,
and
we
the
have
enormous
school
amount of money we're
taxes,
making
we have
off of
city
lottery.
taxes, and we have land taxes.
But the
Those
property.
are all separate.
But no, when you pay your property taxes, it says how much of that goes.
Yeah, there's a portion of it. Not all of the property tax goes to. But why should you pay tax to own property, huh, Charlie?
What's
You
that?
shouldn't.
Why should you pay tax to own property?
You shouldn't. Once you buy your property, it should be yours. Your property. You bought
I'm for that.
property.
Yeah. Okay.
It does not make sense to pay taxes on something you already own.
Is that a comment or is what's popping
I
up
can
there?
see paying
Dale
insurance
Rothwell.
on something you already own, but I can't see paying taxes on something over and over and over.
So are we
on
set
something
for
you
this
own.
for 9 o'clock? Okay.
Yeah, 9:00. Bill has a guest coming on, so that's really cool. His name is Walton, right?
What time is it?
Charles Walton.
Like from Walton's Mountain?
Yeah. Yeah. John Boy. He. There we go.
What you doing?
I'm trying to find out what time is it.
It's 8:29.
All right. So we've got about a half an hour.
Yep, it's 8:29.
No, we don't need to do a state. What are you doing? Get side. You got to push the button on the side. What are you trying to do?
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Do I?
I wanted to see a comment, but I don't want to scroll up on that.
Oh.
What was the comment you wanted to see?
Ben's comment. I noticed he made a comment.
Just talking about guns in Chicago.
That's right. Yeah. Murder rates and guns and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's one of the worst.
Well, and wasn't it outside of Chicago that they've now banned the AR-15. They think they're going to ban it. They're not going to because
Suburbs,
it'll
yeah.
be considered unconstitutional.
Suburbs,
But you see, that's the problem. The problem is like in cities like Chicago and Washington, D.C., the Supreme Court smacked them a few times, and they just keep ignoring them. They still are they still crack down on guns, illegally.
So we
anyway.
need to get together and send the that packet to Matry.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You still haven't done
I
it.
still
You
have.
asked
Hey,
Matry. gotta
I
do-
still have not finished that beer.
you
I'm
should
just not.
probably throw it
I'm not.
out.
Is it bad?
You
Ben's
should
getting on
probably
you.
throw
He
it
said
out.
you're not wearing your new sweater.
So what happens? What happens when you keep craft beer like that? That
It
long?
goes bad.
It goes bad. So what's is it like? It turned to vinegar?
I don't know.
Oh well, I'll bring it in. We'll drink
Then
it on the
what
show.
happens when you keep craft beer?
That beer that I got when I had a little at Thanksgiving, and I haven't had any since. It's still in the bottle there, or what do they call it? It's not a
Craft
bottle.
It's a little keg. It's
Little keg.
It's not called a keg.
No, what-
growler.
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 Yeah. So
You got a mini growler.
that's right. So anyway, and it was
Sours.
it's sours. So I probably shouldn't drink it. Is that what you're saying? It's probably
don't drink it.
yeah, because I got it. It was before Thanksgiving when we were down there and
If you dump it out
And-
and we take it back up there,
got fill it up for free.
yeah, just
Yeah.
make sure you wash it out.
For free?
Not for free.
Charlie,
Not for free. I think
they
it's
will
like
for me.
$3.
Yeah.
It's really cheap. It's like $2 to $3. If
This
you
beer
fill
was
it.
really good and very strong. It was like 14% alcohol.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's really good. They do really good craft beer.
They have like 20, 25 beers on tap right there. And I'm not really a beer drinker,
they're
but
set up for
and this is kind of a neat place. It's the largest brewery of that type craft beer in Ohio.
It is.
And anyway, a nice place. They got
Well, let's get off beer. Let's go somewhere else. Ohioan among 4 Marines killed in crash.
no, that's nice to talk about.
4 Marines killed when their helicopter crashed on a training mission in Southern California desert were identified Thursday as men in their 20s and 30s from the South and Midwest, including one who served in Iraq and another who recently became a father. Miramar Air Station in San Diego said those killed included 28-year-old Captain Samuel Schultz of Huntington Valley, Pennsylvania, 27-year-old First Lieutenant Samuel Phillips of Pinehurst, North Carolina. Both were pilots, with Schultz joining the Marines in 2012 and Phillips in 2013. Also killed was 33-year-old Gunnery Sergeant Richard Hawley of Dayton, Ohio. The helicopter crew chief was the longest-serving Marine among those killed, joining in 2003 and had been deployed to Iraq twice, the air base said. The youngest Marine killed was 24-year-old Lance Corporal Taylor Conrad of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, another helicopter crew chief who became a father in October and was remembered by friends and family as just as caring as he was tough. The Marines were with the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing's 465th Squadron out of Miramar Air Station. They were practicing desert landings when their CH-53E Super Stallion crashed Tuesday in a remote area just outside of El Centro near the U.S.-Mexico border. These Warhorse Marines brought joy and laughter to so many around them, he said. They each served honorably, wore the uniform proudly, and were a perfect example of what makes our Marine Corps great, its people, and this will forever be in our hearts and minds. And this article goes on for a while, but yeah, prayers go out to those families, and
Yeah, that's rough business.
yeah, pretty sad, pretty sad. Let's see, what else do we
I got an article, Charlie.
Well, go
if you'd
ahead.
like me to read it.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
This is from the Wilmington News Journal. Real quick, I called Bud yesterday because I'm going to do a YouTube video with an article from the News Journal, and I asked him, like, what are the rules? You know, I'm going to make a YouTube video using the article from your paper, and all he said was all you have to do is give the News Journal credit.
Right.
You know, and I thought that was really, really cool. But anyway, this article is from the News Journal. No, I didn't get that far into it, but I probably should. It's about the 20 dogs, 5 kids, and 6 adults in one house in Bland. I
And
live
a
like
partridge in a pear
I
tree.
live
Sorry.
a block from them people, and it's not surprising at all. I used to work with all of them at McDonald's when I was like 15, and I mean, it could be pouring rain, it could be a blizzard, really cold. I mean, they walk all the kids. You know, I've actually offered them rides several times. You know, I don't want to see any kids walking in the rain. You know, but as an animal lover, to see that picture of the little dog looking out of the plastic bin, just it's horrible. Have you seen that?
No.
It's no, this dog's locked in. It was like locked in a plastic tote, and there's a crack there's probably a 2-inch crack at the top, and it's like looking out, and there's no. They were called they.
How was he looking out?
Like, because there was like a crack in
How
between.
was he doing that?
Like, you know.
I was waiting to see the pause again.
But it's sad. It's really sad, you know. No food or water for the animals.
That's sad. That is sad.
I actually called, you know, the thing that concerned me, you know, was no, they were sleeping on chairs. You know, there's not enough. They said there was urine and feces throughout the house. What concerned me was, you know, in the article it says Clinton County Children's Services has an open case with Angie Allen's 3 children. So I actually called Clinton County Children's Services, and, you know, because we dealt with Preble County Children's Services when my fiance's sister passed away. So, and I kind of know how they work, and it's... So anyway, I called Clinton County, and I just had a couple questions for them. I'm like, why did it take and these were valid questions, you know? Why did it take a guy getting bit by a dog for the police to be notified, you know? You guys have an open case. Why didn't you guys call the police or the sheriff, you know? And I asked them that and a couple other questions that I'll cover in my video, and they just, oh, we can't answer that. You're going to have to turn in a public information request, and then we'll have to talk to our attorney.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's horrible, you know? Oh, and, well, first off, she tried to shut me down by saying, we can't confirm or deny that there's an open case. And I'm like, well, you don't have to, because Wilmington News Journal confirmed that there's an open case, you know what I mean? But I just basically got the runaround, and you'll see in a video on my YouTube channel, Bill Dozer Vlogs. Cheap plug, is that okay? Am I allowed to do that? My new YouTube channel. No, I've had it for about a year now. I just haven't uploaded any videos. So, do you think I should go ahead and read this article so I don't stir up the hornet's nest, or wait till they get back? You did.
Governor Kasich. There's some words to be said about that man. Not nice words either. Show of hands of anybody who likes him. Oh, wait. Go ahead. Put your hands up. No?
We're waiting.
Nobody? Okay. Come on.
So this article's from the News Journal here in Wilmington. Gun law changes embraced by Governor Kasich introduced. This is from the AP out of Columbus. Ohio would get a red flag law and other bipartisan gun law changes embraced by Republican Governor John Kasich under a bill introduced at the State House on Thursday. State Rep Michael Henney, a Dayton area Republican, introduced legislation containing 6 changes that Kasich recommended last month to Ohio gun and background check laws. The second-term governor pitched it as a palatable package to policymakers of both parties. These are just sensible changes that should keep people safer, Henney said. Kasich's recommended changes included a so-called red flag law that would enable family members, guardians, or police to ask judges to temporarily strip gun rights from people showing warning signs of violence through a new gun violence restraining order. Several other states have embraced such laws. Additional recommendations that Henney said are included in the bill are forcing stricter compliance with deadlines and penalties around entering data into the national background check system, prohibiting those under domestic violence protection orders from buying or possessing firearms, and clarifying Ohio's prohibition on so-called straw men third-party gun purchases. This is a quote. I vetted this with my friends who are strong gun rights, Second Amendment people, and they don't have any problem with these issues, Henney said. No one should have any objections to this. This is just sensible stuff. Wow. And they're all probably out on the left coast there, you know. The proposals emerged from a politically diverse advisory panel that Kasich assembled after Las Vegas saw the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history in October. It was. He accelerated the group's work after 17 died in a school shooting in Parkland, Florida on February 14th. Among Kasich's advisors were former Ohio Attorney General Betty Montgomery, a tough on-crime Republican, and Nita Turner, a former Democratic state senator from Cleveland who was a national mouthpiece for Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders' presidential bid. Turner, whose son is a police officer, also served on Kasich's commission on improving police-community relations. Highly diverse issues such as raising the age limits of gun purchases, banning AR-15 assault-type rifles, or imposing universal background checks were absent, presumably because they continued to divide the group. Kasich also called on Ohio to move quickly to implement measures to ensure timely and accurate compliance with required records reporting to the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, or NICS, to keep guns out of the hands of those with criminal convictions and other prohibited conditions. There were 3 other recommendations in the areas of armor-piercing bullets, strawman gun purchases, and gun restrictions on domestic violence offenders, involving bringing Ohio laws in line with tougher federal standards. The panel's final suggestion is that Ohio law be changed to automatically incorporate any future changes to federal gun regulations into state law. So what do you think about that, Miss Marianne? It's just another, yeah, exactly. That's all it is, you know. And I'm surprised he's, considered Republican. He's not acting like it, is he?
I think Kasich needs to go back to the hole he crawled into.
And I read an article talking
and
about
then
a 2020 bid, which it'll go nowhere, you know.
If he does, he's just going to be wasting money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just met a gentleman out there. They're getting ready to do a flight engineers and mechanic class tomorrow. And I gave him one of my cards, and I said, if you'd ever want to come on and talk about aviation, what's going on out here at the air park or anything like that, we'd love to have you on because most of our listeners, like me, I have no clue, about
aviation
that
enthusiasts.
And he said he'd love to.
Oh.
So, Dave's his first name, and he'll
Dave what?
he told me, I've already forgot that part.
Look interested, didn't he?
He said I was a DJ in college. This will be fun.
Wow.
He said I could get my line of bull out and ready to go. So why do I walk in here and you're talking about John Kasich? What do you do? Gun control.
He's trying to do a gun grab.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. One of these days, these people are going to try that crap, and people will revolt. You'll start seeing these militias crawl out of the network, out of the woods, and they're just not going to put up with it. You talk about what do we call Kim when we get her going? What do we call that? Well, yeah, but what's the when we get her? But it's poking the bear. That's what they're doing with the gun owners. They're poking the bear. Poisoned former Russian spy Sergei something there happened to him. Let's see what happened. It's on Fox Breaking News. So now your caller, Bill, give everybody a little preface of what's happening here.
So Charles Walton, so 6 months ago, when the 1st of October, when the Las Vegas shooting happened, I just really became caught up in it. I just could not believe how, some of the things went down. Like for instance, a week after Parkland, we know everything about the shooter, what happened, etc., But 6 months after the Las Vegas shooting, we basically don't know anything, or anything of substance anyway. So
I think you just hit the nail on the head there. Anything of substance. Look, what people ate, what they had for dinner, what kind of music they listened to. That doesn't tell you the main questions.
Exactly.
Why? It doesn't tell you what triggered them, why they decided to do that, why they decided those people, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we know the shooter in Vegas listened to a certain type of music. And?
Big deal.
Big deal, yeah, big deal. No matter what music you listen to, there's violence, there's love, there's sex, there's drugs, and there's religion, there's beauty in all music.
Mm-hmm.
There's beauty, actually, and intelligence in all games, depending on who you are. In movies, the same deal. Now, break it down for what it was. It's something going on in that person's life that has nothing to do with electronics. It's an emotional, social, psychological problem that people are not addressing. That's why we're having these shooters. That's why we're having these. Exactly. It's a mental health issue that we are not addressing. And our country is having more than the other countries combined. Now, you could say our country's having more because our media is more aware of them and we're blasting it more. Or you could simply say other countries don't have that much. It's one or the other. Either they're having them and they're not blasting them because they don't want it to be mainstream media. They'd rather, the puppy adoption be first on their news so their country looks positive. Or you could say they're legitly not that strict, so their people are mentally more healthy, so they're not having the breakdowns that we are having here in America. I think it's both points, and I think both points are valid. I think America, there's that clip, by now everybody has seen. It's from a movie. I think it's actually from a show. The 5 most honest minutes of television. And it's where the guy, this college student asks one of the candidates, what makes America great? And all the other ones are like, well, America's great because of freedom. Well, America's great because it's America, and those are fluff answers. And then you get the one guy on there who's
Jeff Daniels.
He's just had it. He's like, look, America's not number one. And she's like, well, you mean to tell me? And he's like, yeah, we're not number one. We're not number one in freedom. 30 other states have freedom. It's more than that.
Man, that's so true.
Yeah.
That was so true.
We're number one in angels. More of our people in our country believe in angels and childhood obesity. That's what we're number one in.
And then he went on to say, like, this is
we're
25th in like math and science.
And we used to be number one, and it would be good to be back at number one. But let's face it, you've got schools like Japan who pride themselves in bringing their kids up to learn, not to take a test. And we've covered that before. Teaching our kids to learn, not to teach them to take a test. We have places like Germany who will teach a child outside the box if they're not learning on the straight path. You have places like Russia, for instance, it's very unique. There's no standard uniforms. The kids are allowed to wear whatever they want because they believe the kids should be able to express their individuality because everything else is by the book.
Right.
So in that regards, they are the same. And their scores are all way above us. You have to wonder, they are the main producers of, I want to say childhood genius, but it's basically childhood knowledge. It's teaching their children how to handle the next step in the world versus, and all of those countries, by the way, are their children's lunches, school lunches, are way better. I mean, they don't even compare to our school lunches. So, I mean, you have to compare countries to countries, and our country is by far the worst. And when it comes to social mishaps like we're having, like the shootings, like the gun laws, gun controls, control our borders, or we're going to shoot up the school, you're going to deport my dad, but I was born here, so I'm going to shoot up everything. No, that's not how it happens. Quit whining. Quit being a brat. Understand your place. And we've dumbed down Ohio. We've dumbed down the United States. We don't let parents be parents anymore. We expect the teachers to be the parents, and the parents expect the teachers expect the parents just to be like, don't worry. If you don't get your homework now, you'll get it later. Well, it just gets harder later.
Charlie's, thanks for joining us today. Todd Blocker, you can't be number one when everybody gets a trophy. That's very true.
I could not believe.
Exactly right.
Could not agree more.
Kurt Mudisball is watching.
Not
Ed
everybody
Black
should get a
says,
trophy.
Put old Walton on early. Laugh out loud. Well, Ed, he'll be here in about 7 or 8 minutes. Okay. And he's going to call your phone. Is that right?
Well, what are you?
I don't think we should do that. And I'll tell you why. Because to hear him, we're going to have to turn up the volume. Then we're going to hear ours back and forth. You know what I mean? It's going to be like an echo.
Well,
effect.
I definitely want to get him on like Facebook Live.
Well, they'll hear him right over your phone. They'll hear him just like when you call in.
I've only got 36% battery left. Do we have a plug-in somewhere around?
I've got. There's one behind you here. As long as you got enough cord.
I don't have a charger with me.
You take Apple, don't
No.
you?
No, this is an Apple charger.
Samsung.
I've got one out in the car. We can go get.
Samsung.
Where you want me to run out there, or you want to run out
or,
there?
Here, I'll tell you what. I'll just put my phone on. I'll put my phone on power saving mode, and then he can call mine.
You know what?
You can do the same thing to yours.
Yeah,
Just put yours
I
on.
forgot about that. But I don't know if with that. I don't know. We'll try it. I don't know if the let's see. Let's just try it. It's 5 till. I'm gonna go ahead and just get him on.
What do you got? Is your phone on power saving mode?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that if you want. Well, we're going to have to take a break here.
All right,
in a minute,
yeah.
Too, so we may want to wait till after the break because it's 9 o'clock. So, again, this guy coming on is
Charles Walton.
Charles
He
Walton.
is awesome. All right, we're gonna take our top of the hour.
106.9 WZAA LP, Jeffersonville.
what Bill has explained to us is this Charles Walton has had 50,000 followers on
He had over
YouTube?
50,000 followers. He
On
had
YouTube.
I think he said 47 million views.
Wow.
He's been on YouTube. Well, he was until like January. He was on YouTube for 12 years. Good standing. I'll let him explain it when he gets on here.
Well, and hopefully he can tell him to share the show.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did accept his friend request, so tell him to share the show and get this out so his people can see it.
You know, I'm just gonna do a well, yeah, I'll just do the conversation with him here.
Well, and here you go. You can put this mic up to your speaker. Just lay that on the floor and put your speaker on speakerphone. And
That's how you do it.
Then put this mic. Yeah, it works. Trust me. It works when you call in.
Hey, Charles, how's it going, buddy?
Yep.
Where's
Yeah, your video's going to eat that up. You should have just called him on the phone.
Yeah.
where's let's see. No, I'm gonna roll with this. We're gonna do it on speaker or on this video chat here.
Okay, let me get this.
Can you hear me, Charles?
Kind of low. I've got my volume up all the way though. Let me see. Okay, try again.
All right, hold on 1 second. I'm turning it on speakerphone.
Sound like you had it on speakerphone.
It's
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, because volume's a little bit low.
Bill, yeah.
well, I thought it was.
I think you had it on
a different
speakerphone.
way.
It sounded like you had it on speakerphone. Yeah, you had it on speakerphone.
All right.
Problem is with that case.
Are
That's
you
what
there,
this.
Charles?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So basically, we're just gonna do audio. We're having some technical difficulties there.
Okay, that's fine.
I can't figure my phone out. So welcome to the show. This is the Morning Zoo here. My co-host is Miss Mary Ann. She's the star of the show, and Charlie Hargrave. He's the voice. So go ahead. This is Charles Walton. He's from Kenner, Louisiana. I followed him on YouTube, and I'm just
see that. Just saw the dark side of Charlie.
on the dark side of the moon. All right,
Blinded by the dark side.
all right, Charles. Well, go ahead and take it over, buddy. Tell him your story.
Oh yeah, hey, how you doing? Hopefully everybody's doing good in Ohio today. But yeah, so I was on YouTube for quite a while actually, and on February the 21st of 2018, I had no copyright strikes, no community guideline strikes. Basically, my channel was in perfect shape. Been that way for a while. And then on that night, I received 2 community guideline strikes back to back within minutes, and then a third strike the next morning. So YouTube was basically on a mission, and they terminated my channel that morning. I had been on YouTube since 2006 for over 12 years, had over 4,700 videos and over 50,000 subscribers and over 47 million total views. And yeah, so what's crazy part about it too is that night I jumped right on it and I started appealing it because I saw that something was really going, down bad. And within like hours, they rejected all of my appeals, which was really weird because normally when you appeal a video on YouTube, it takes like at least 2 or 3 days to hear back from them. So then at that point, I realized, that it wasn't good. And then as the days and weeks followed, it was like one right after another, YouTube channels being terminated. Now, these are channels that are doing investigative work and reporting the truth about these shootings, doing extensive investigative work. And so for some reason, with this new gun control agenda, they just didn't want people speaking the truth. And so that's why they're taking these channels down.
All right, so what is the truth?
Well, the thing is, with the Las Vegas shooting, of course, it's just been a lot of cover-up going on. Just one thing after another, they're telling us things that they've actually come out and lied about some things, and then they retract their stories, and they didn't want to reveal the evidence, of course. They curtailed a lot of evidence, which is not normal in these type of events. And I even spoke with numerous police officers from around the country, and they were asking me, they were saying it's just not normal protocol. They usually share information. They wouldn't share any of this information with other police, departments. They didn't want to release surveillance video.
The timeline, real quick, the timeline was messed up from the get-go. They, revised it like 3 times.
Right, exactly.
And I was telling them before you came on earlier, you know, how the Parkland shooting, you know, a week after that, we know basically almost everything there is to know, but 6 months after the Vegas shooting, and we really don't know anything.
Right, exactly. And interesting enough, on those strikes that they gave me, one was I found out information about David Hogg, and I exposed the fact that his dad was an ex-FBI agent. And so they gave me a strike on that, and there was no reason to get a strike on that.
His
I'm just
death
revealing.
was what?
His dad, David Hogg, the kid from Parkland.
So you're saying they gave
Right.
you a strike because you did some investigative journalism and you reported?
Right. That basically what they were doing is this whole thing where they're terminating all these channels is anybody that exposed too much of the truth that they don't want exposed. And one of the particular videos was of David Hogg. I found information that his dad was a former FBI agent, and they didn't like that, so they gave me a strike on that one.
That was
And
like the straw that broke the camel's back, wasn't it? And then that when they terminated your channel?
Right, yeah. Another one was the pictures from Stephen Paddock's room, which everybody had those pictures up from the room, and that video was from months ago. So what they were doing is they hired the Southern Poverty Law Firm, and these were inexperienced people, and they're just going around that basically terminating channels of people that were, you know, and doing investigative work in the truth is what it is.
That's interesting, and also, so he was getting really. So I've been watching some of his videos since October, and he was really on to something. He was getting close to explaining, how right here, how you were starting to explain about Paddock, right? And how he had both the hotel rooms, the one at the Ogden and the one at Mandalay Bay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all kind of stuff. One of my best investigative work was in regards to the Las Vegas shooting. Interviewed numerous witnesses that were shot at the concert. Josara Rajero was one of them. She was shot in the arm and the leg, and gave an in-depth story of what she saw and talking about the bullets raining down and all that. Of course, the famous cab driver Corey Lamb.
I was getting ready to say that Charles was the. Correct me if I'm wrong, Charles. You were the first person to actually have the first person to interview Corey Langdon, the famous cab driver.
She's very particular, about who she does an interview with, and she's done very few. And as far as I know, I don't think she's done any other interviews on YouTube. I interviewed her twice, and now, of course, she's a friend of mine here on Facebook. A really honest and nice lady. And she was one of the key witnesses in that case, of course. And, of course, the FBI, they came and interviewed her and all that. But, yeah, she's one of the key witnesses because she was driving that cab right down below the Mandalay Bay Hotel. And if you listen to her video, there's no louder gunshots than from her vehicle there with the video that she was recording. And, some people come out, of course, and say, well, maybe she's a crisis actor. But that's just simply not true because if you look at – you can even see two different clocks in her cab. Where it shows exact time and everything that's going on, and she gave great detail into what happened. A very interesting witness, and also not, nice lady.
Yeah.
So, just to recap here, if somebody has been living in a bubble, can you recap what we're talking about here? The Las Vegas shootings. What?
I guess the question that I'm trying to, we think that there was more than one shooter. Is that right?
Definitely.
That's definitely a possibility. It's hard to confirm that. There's many different, theories in regards to that. You had the helicopters. You had a couple figures that kind of look like somebody dressed in black in different areas around, moving about. But there's just a lot of questions in regards to that, whether there was another shooter or not. It's like I said, it's very hard to confirm it. But I can tell you this: the majority of people that contacted me, they don't believe that Stephen Paddock was a lone shooter. So, the majority of the people that have contacted me believe that it was either not him or other shooters. And, of course, if you go into the details.
So perhaps he was just a fall guy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, right. That's right. Exactly.
Like
Good
Booth.
possibility.
And so what we have seen in a lot of these mass shooting cases where there have been – and I don't think it's just that we've got these conspiracy theorists that are jumping on all these incidents. I think that what's happening is people like yourself are putting the facts together, and the facts don't add up. So So what we're actually seeing is that in the case of these various mass shootings, there has been government activity. They're running scenarios ahead of time. Even in Parkland, they said that I guess there was some government entity that was there, and they were doing sort of a scenario where, in the event that there would be some mass casualty shooting, and then we have one that actually occurs. So, are you of the opinion in the investigation that you've done that what we may be looking at that is something that is terrorist related, or something that is more maybe government related, in order to?
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility with some of these, because the thing is, the government likes to cover all that stuff up. I mean, if there's a terrorist act, they don't like to come out. You know how they are. They don't like to come out and commit and say that was a terrorist act, even though sometimes it's quite obvious. Now, they also put on these reenactments of these shootings, and they use they use actual real. Everything's real in it. I mean, real police officers. They make it as realistic as possible. And if you were to walk up on one of these things, you wouldn't know whether it was real or not. So it's just interesting what they're doing with all this. And so the question is, what is the agenda and exactly what are they doing? But I definitely do believe that when we have these terrorist acts, they love to downplay it and just cover it up. And they do the same thing with other events too, UFO sightings, stuff like that. They just want to cover this stuff up. They don't want to be transparent with the public.
Right. So in your opinion, as far as your community strikes that initially started with one, and then you get your second one, then you get your third one, and they discontinue your channel, do you think that what was the final straw that YouTube seems to think was, because was it, did you make some comment about, what was it, David Hogg? Was there something that you said, offensive, they said, or bullying or something like that?
Yeah, they try to come out and say bullying's what they use. I have about 4 or 5 other individuals that also had large YouTube channels, and the same thing happened to them.
Talking about Mr. Hogg, right? They got terminated.
Right. All within about a 2-week period, and it all seems to revolve around these shootings and our investigative work. And David Hogg in particular, absolutely. I mean, from what I saw, if you just basically put his name in a title, it's going to draw a flag. They're going to look at it, and they're probably going to give you a strike.
That happened with several.
Now, refresh people's memory who David Hogg is. You guys have thrown that name around a lot.
Is he on?
Are you there, Charles?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
David Hogg.
Go ahead, Charles. Sorry.
Yeah, he, for some reason they just had him under protection. It's just odd. He came out of nowhere, and you would see him on CNN, MSNBC, CBS, I mean, all the stations.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
Right, he was everywhere. And it's so strange because, he's a pretty good speaker, and he had a very strong influence, and he's all about gun control and not real supportive, obviously, of the Second Amendment rights. And so he came on this agenda, and the strange thing about it was this agenda was to influence other young people, high school students, ask them to walk out of school and all this stuff to try to get them on board of gun control. And that just seemed really strange that this young guy would come out of nowhere and have all this power, get on all these news channels, and with this very evident, agenda of gun control.
But he has been at other, we'll say, crises. I know that I saw something from something that he did, and he was out in California, and it was a CBS news, or it was a breaking news, and he just happened to be in this, and this was a year prior to what happened in Parkland. So my thought is this: first of all, have you confirmed, or do you know, was he actually a student at that high school in Florida?
That's of course the big question, an excellent question there. And there's a lot of evidence out there that supports that he graduated from some other school
in California.
Like 2 or 3 years before. And I tell you, I've had so many people send me, information and evidence in regards to stuff that just doesn't make sense with him. It almost seems like
the yearbook photo that we saw, where he was actually he graduated several years before, which would certainly indicate that maybe that's why he's a little more poised than an average high school student.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and he was. And of course, you mentioned crisis actors. I think a lot of people out there probably have no idea of what we're talking about, but these individuals that we call crisis actors, they go back as far as these mass shootings, where it appears that we've seen people many times in the news in these instances over and over and over again at different crises, right?
Right. And I'm quite very careful about mentioning that. I know during this latest thing where they took down so many channels, of course they obviously went after a lot of people that were speaking crisis actors, but really I hardly ever use that term, and I may have only put it in one video ever, because I was very particular about that, because it's hard to prove that, even though we know and we've seen pictures of people that seem to reappear during these events, oddly, it's just hard to explain. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just a lot of odd stuff going on with a lot of agendas, and it's really strange.
So basically what we have here then is it's your belief that because of the reporting that you were doing on YouTube, because you've always been, we'll call you right of center, you're a more conservative individual, and so right. Your channel, was it mainly a political channel or had a political tone to it?
Well, I'm kind of in the middle, but the thing is, mine was just more basically reporting news stories, investigative work, and, trying to find clues and exposing the truth pretty much. I tried, not to give too strong a political belief, but one thing for sure, it just seems like what they're doing, if you're not like on that far left side, it seems like that for some reason, because we know that the people that run YouTube and Google, they're on that side. They're very liberal, and it just seems to me like what they did this time, they went over the line. And if you're not on into or supporting what they want, they're just out to take you down. And that's where it becomes a big issue, in regards to First Amendment rights and freedom of speech and freedom of the press and all this stuff.
Yeah. So going back to your, YouTube and Google being, liberals, even now with Facebook, how they're, they got that little thing on there where it tells you if you're conservative or liberal or moderate.
I saw that. I know. Yeah.
And, hey, Charles, if you don't mind, we got some good comments coming into the show real quick. Let me just take 1 second here.
Sure, go ahead.
Ed Black says, I believe it was a terrorist attack on our ground, and it was just a cover-up. And Charles Beckman said, David Hogg is a proven liar and a paid activist. And Ed says again, Ed Black, why was Cruz woke up
the day of the shooting and to go to school if he was suspended? And Charles Beckham says Ed Cruz was a drugged patsy. He has no clue what's going on.
And we just want to thank our viewers for those comments, Charles. But going back to your point, so basically,
So at this point, you've lost your YouTube channel with no hope of, unless somehow you were to start another channel. See, here's the thing that our listeners and viewers probably don't understand. First of all, Facebook and YouTube, they are private platforms that we use and that you're not charged for. But a lot of people that are successful at using these platforms have figured out ways to actually generate revenue through those channels. It's sort of like the carrot and the stick. They set these parameters up, and then when they find that maybe you're becoming a little too successful on the channels, they take that carrot and they extend it a little further so that you're not making quite the amount of money you were, or or you're suffering financially from it. We've never monetized our channels. We do that through other means and through our website. But for you, were you actually making money on your YouTube channel?
Oh yeah. I actually got it to a point where I was doing pretty good with it. Of course, YouTube doesn't allow to say exactly how much, but it was to a point to where it was doing quite well actually, because I had monetization for a while. And then the channel grew so fast within the last year, it went like from 22,000 to 50,000 subscribers. So
now I think you have to have at least 1,000 viewer hours, and you have to have 1,000 subscribers in order to be able to do certain things with your YouTube channel. A lot of people may not understand the technicalities, but for instance, you can normally, if you have a successful channel and you've had it, you can take a code and embed it on another website. And you were at that level, of course. We are at that level with certain channels that we operate. But if you tried to start a new channel today, you would have to meet the parameters of these 1,000 hours and these 1,000 subscribers before you could embed it. So what that means is they drive people to YouTube and YouTube only. And of course, we also know they're launching these TV channels where they're trying to make money by giving us things other than the creative stuff that you're doing and that we do, where they're trying to sell regular television programming. So it's imperative that they be able to take and drive as many people to those channels. And I don't. There's nothing wrong with that. They're a business, and they have stockholders, and they have people they answer to, and they're trying to make money like any other company. And they have the perfect right to be able to, change the rules that of a private platform. But I think that the problem is that when an individual like yourself is used to making money at a certain level, and then they overnight change what they're going to require, and now that's why the young lady apparently actually went to YouTube and fired at people there at that party. She was upset. She had several channels, from what I understand. One of them was a fashion channel, and I think but she was a liberal activist, so to speak. She was from Iran, and she actually she was upset with the fact that these things had changed in January, I think, and that affected her as well, in a negative way, of course, because she actually took violence as a path to that. But so as far as you go, I know you still have a Facebook channel. Did we mention that so that people can find you?
Yeah. So let me do that real quick for you. So it's Charles Walton on Facebook. Do you mind if I do that? I guess I should.
No, go ahead.
So it's Charles Walton on Facebook, and usually at night about 10 o'clock or after he does live streams.
Yeah,
here in Ohio.
Typically between about 8 and 10
Louisiana.
Central Daylight Time.
No.
Well, 10 o'clock here. Yeah, 10 o'clock Eastern
here.
Standard Time, right.
And so he does that, and actually I'm gonna be on his Facebook live stream tonight later on. But he does that probably 2 or 3 times a week, would you say, Charles?
Yeah, it's probably maybe 4 or 5 usually.
Yeah,
kind
so
of depending, but
it's
a fun thing.
Go ahead. Is there anything you want to plug? Go ahead.
Well, the easiest way to find it is because this is originally what I came back up with, because I used to have a contest, but you can find it Charles Walton, but also you can just go to facebook.com /Charles Spotlight. And that's 2 S's, Charles Spotlight.
Alrighty. So
it's just kind of an upbeat, fun, cheerful, and entertaining live show I put on. Basically, at the end of the day, people are kind of stressed out from work and all, so it's a chance to laugh, smile, and just feel good. Get those endorphins going.
Sort of like our morning show.
Oh, definitely. It's definitely a feel-good live stream for sure. Yeah. Hey, Charles, we're going to go over here to Mary Ann. She's got some comments from our...
From our live feed.
Yeah.
So Teresa says, Doug Hogg states more than once that he was at school, then states he was at home, so he wasn't even there, but... How is he the face of the movement? And that's a very good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Charles Beckham says... Yeah. Las Vegas and Parkland are major events. Not only did dozens of people get killed and hundreds injured, but also major cover-ups involved at high levels. We're talking about the FBI being complacent. This is why YouTube channels and other media forums are pulling anything that threatens the federal cover-ups. And then Charles Beckham goes on to say it is quite likely Stephen Paddock was working for ATF and FBI. That alone is major. The feds are running the show.
Right, and I think that for any of you that maybe are new to what we do here on the Morning Zoo, we'd like you to share the show. Go to our WZAA LPFM.com website and become a member. Of course,
that is every weekday, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., and it runs till 10.
Right. We're here in Ohio. Most of the time we're in Jeffersonville, Ohio, which is about 25 miles to our northeast, but we're here in Wilmington on Fridays. So, yeah. So,
we like our new station.
Yeah. We're also on
Wilmington is our new station, so.
In Jeffersonville, Ohio. This is Charlie. This is the voice, baby. This is.
You're right. I heard what you said earlier.
Also,
from up there on my list to down here on my list.
And we're also on FM radio 106.9. That's low power FM. It's low power, but it is
high impact.
High impact, baby. And that is WZAA.
And I think perhaps we'll talk later after the show maybe about collaborating and doing some things. Certainly you've got some interesting things to talk about, and we certainly have at least the ability to maybe get you heard. And so we'll talk with you after the show about what we might do to benefit you and also our listeners as well. That's right. Maybe
a little call in or whatever.
Yeah.
Charles, just so you know, we didn't try to not want to put you on screen, but we're afraid that we were going to get
that's fine. I understand.
We're going to get like a lot of feedback and stuff because the live, it's just timing issues. What we'd have been saying live would have been maybe
there's a delay.
4 seconds delay, and I think it would have just been confusing for our listeners. Where this way, they can get it.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, and we are of course on Facebook Live. We are also on YouTube on our WZAA LPFM website. Right? Yeah, awesome. we don't know. Maybe after today we won't be on YouTube, but. That's right. But we are also live over the air in our broadcast radius, which is about 25-mile broadcast radius in Jeffersonville, Ohio, over the air on radio. But, one of the programs that comes to mind, especially when it's late at night or overnight, there have been these conspiracy theory programs where all these interesting things about UFOs and cover-ups and that kind of thing. Is this something sort of like your program, or is your program not quite so we'll say out on the edge? Is it more of a, like we do on the morning show, sort of a mainstream happy type of show?
Well, it's actually all that. It's because it's a broad spectrum. I mean, that's one of the things that I like talking about quite a bit, actually, is UFO cases and all those things like that, even paranormal events, things like that. So basically my channel had that broad spectrum talking about all those different things because that stuff is mysterious, intriguing, and mesmerizing.
People like it, and see that that is what we talked about as far as overnight on our program. So
I love that stuff. Yeah, I love it. I've done a lot of research on it. It's very, very interesting to me.
Charles, Marianne's got a question.
We're going to go back
here.
to one of our viewers had wrote thousands of cameras in Vegas. All those casinos are in concert with FBI to suppress thousands of hours of video surveillance. Why? Here's my big question. Now, my 5-year-old can take my phone, and she does, and she video records everything. Photos, everything. I've got thousands of photos on her iPad that I've got to delete because she's just wearing up space. Now, my niece takes her phone to school and videos where she's not supposed to. My son has his phone on him, takes photos. You see what I'm saying? So this is a concert that was going on at the same time. And you are telling me that thousands, not hundreds, not 10, we're talking thousands of people had no cell phones on them to record the damage and the chaos that was ensuing. You're telling me that nobody had their phone out taking selfies of each other as they're entering this concert.
They sure did.
Well, it's not just that. The
But
casinos
you don't see any of
have
that.
they have cameras
That's
everywhere,
right.
inside, outside, everything, probably
That's
but the
what
restroom.
I'm saying, though.
So- and-
At the least, we should be seeing those phone photos.
Yeah.
Those phone videos. At the least. Now,
Right.
this is Vegas, one of the most video surveillance
if not
places,
the most.
yeah, well, at least in this country,
America.
right? Yeah,
and nobody caught
it's
anything.
crickets. It's
listen
crickets.
to this, Charles. Tell them what the FBI did with everybody's cell phones.
Oh, yeah. I'll briefly comment on that. Yeah, one of the key things, too, that I'd like to say about that is what's odd about this is the few cell phone video that we actually got is low quality, which is always strange. And I don't know how to explain this. It makes no sense at all. But every time we get shooting video, it's always low quality. It's like they compress it or something. Now, why is this? I don't know. It's
They
very
need to
strange
blur it
indeed.
almost.
Oh yeah, that's what
Right.
they do.
It's very strange indeed. And how do you explain that? Because I mean, this is 2000. This is a year when we got these HD cameras and all this stuff. Why we get this low video quality? I don't know. But yeah, mentioned about the
Even
FBI.
bad
Now,
phones have good quality cameras.
This is really strange though about the FBI, and I
Watch this.
confirm this because there's one of the big law firms out of California, and she has the exact same name, of course, as the sheriff, last name oddly, and so anyway, yeah, Lombardo, and she's one of the big attorneys that is representing these big cases against MGM and all this, and so she confirmed it on her website, and I had that in a video where. Some of her clients, this is really odd, but they verified that the victims at the Las Vegas Route 91 shooting, many of them dropped their phones and personal items running from the gunfire, and when they did, the FBI took all these cell phones and they wiped all the video and all the pictures off of them before giving it back to them.
Yep, they scrubbed
I can
them.
tell you, if they scrubbed mine, they'd probably have me with a gun at their door because what's
course.
on my cell phone is my kid.
Well, it's not just that. I
And-
mean, if you've got if you have if you're connected, of course, we don't know about Google but a lot of this stuff is automatically backed up. So you would think that somebody
Right.
would be able to access some of these
Right.
videos.
Right.
Yeah.
Cloud or something, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that when we talk about the low quality of some of this video, it doesn't even have to be after the fact. If there is some nefarious government operation going on, they have these stingers where they can pretend to be cell towers and they can intercept phone calls. They can have. I'm sure they've got technical equipment out there. Me being with a technical
Cut the
back.
service, too.
They can reduce the quality so that that your phones are not functioning the way. There's just so many things that we are unaware of that are
That's an excellent point.
that our government and these agencies have access to that we don't even have a clue to. That there's not much, and they wonder why people don't trust their government today. It's because of incidents like this that make absolutely no sense. When everything else is all over the news, when it's in detail, right to what pair of shoes that the shooter was wearing, and then we get a situation like Las Vegas where, and I don't know if you know who Wayne Allen Root is, but he actually lives in Las Vegas. He's written many books. He's on Fox News a lot. We've had him on our program and a local program here on a radio station in Cincinnati. But Wayne Allen, he definitely thinks that it smells fishy there in Las Vegas, and he probably hears a lot more because he lives right there where this all took place, and he's constantly bringing up the fact that we still have not gotten any real details. Why is this being covered up?
And here's another thing, Charles. Charles made a video. I think it was maybe in December or early January. In the hours like from 11 p.m. to like 7 a.m. The FBI ran a spy plane around Mandalay Bay and around that area where the shooting happened, basically collecting cell phone data, collecting, listening in on phone calls. Just to tell them about that, Charles.
Yeah, it's a lot of strange stuff going on. It's a crazy thing, but they actually about a week ago did that over my neighborhood here. oddly, and they did it for like 6 or 8 hours straight, just circling. And it's odd because I live in a direct north-south path of the New Orleans International Airport, and in all the years I've been here, I've never seen that before. And I called the airport tower. They confirmed it. They told me what type plane it was. They said it was a some type of mission or something, but they wouldn't give details on it. But they had to completely stop the air traffic.
Beckman, and he said surveillance video from hotels and casinos. Yeah, we covered that. And then Jennifer Sowers, she mentioned the FBI scrub phones that were left behind. And Teresa Talaricos, she said they won't release them because it could reveal the truth, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
Teresa, I'm sorry. And then back to Charles Beckman, he said Paddock spent a lot of time in Vegas, a lot of hotels, and that's true.
Well, he was a frequent traveler to Vegas.
Yeah, and another thing was he actually had a room at the Ogden at the same time as he did to the Mandalay Bay. And I have questions about the Ogden, like, was his conspirator at the Ogden? Is that where he was going to meet and pick up other guns? There's just tons of questions that aren't answered. But
Exactly.
Continue on real quick. And another thing, Jesus Campos. That's another guy who's just
Very strange.
very strange person.
Yep. Jose Campos and Mary Lou Danley, the supposed girlfriend. They never get an interview with anybody, and then after they show them on whatever TV show, whatever they want to do, then they just disappear and nobody knows where they go.
Heck, remember Campos and Shuck? They went on the Ellen show, and Ellen gave Campos tickets to the Oakland Raiders.
I know, it's so crazy. And she. And
I'm
the weird
betting
thing about
he
that too
never
is
made
the
it
whole
to that.
show, she pretty much talked for him the whole
I'm betting
show.
you he
did
never
not
made
talk
it
at
to
all.
the show.
Well,
You mean to the game?
to the game.
Yeah.
It's actually that she posted him. It's whenever the Raiders here, I think next year or the year after,
Yeah, I'm
move to
betting he
Vegas.
never makes it.
Yeah, I bet
that's
not.
I'm betting Campos never actually uses those tickets.
That's just unbelievable. So, Charles, if you want to wrap this, what is your theory, basically, on what exactly happened?
Well, no, I have a couple theories, but I definitely believe, of course, Stephen Paddock just doesn't fit the profile of somebody, his age, his wealth. He was in Las Vegas, going to all the different hotels, casinos. He had all the top cards, and he just doesn't fit the profile of somebody that would just all of a sudden decide to go shoot a bunch of people. It just doesn't make sense. He had pretty much a high government security clearance. He worked for Lockheed Martin. He had numerous government jobs. And so whatever's going on, I can say this, it's a big cover-up. He had some information or something that the government wanted, and they were going to do whatever they could to get it. And I think there was some conflict at some point that went on to where he didn't want to give up or divulge it, or maybe he was going to expose something. Maybe he'd been out to Area 51 and he was going to expose something the government didn't want him to. And I think it came to a point to where either he lost it or somebody else lost it. Not sure exactly who did the shooting, but they're not telling us everything, that's for sure.
Yeah, remember his hard drive is missing out of his computer, his laptop. That is very strange.
Absolutely.
I could sit here all day and talk about this. I am just so. I'm just so.
Well, this sounds like this could be a several programs to come.
Yeah,
here, as
we
far
should
as
definitely make maybe another program or something.
I'm going to let Charlie come back in and finish up.
There's just so much. I did so much extensive research, investigation regards to that shooting, and those videos, I'd put them up and they'd go viral one after another. And there's quite a few of the videos that I did save. Of course, with over 4,700 videos, I didn't save all those. Going way back, that time, but just a lot of interesting information. There was even a point where the sheriff Joe Lombardo. I found a video where he said that he wanted to show us the evidence, and anybody that would contact him that had a good following, he would do it. So I contacted him, and I couldn't get him. I was trying to interview him, get him on, but he just didn't want to do it. And then he was hooked up with Steve Sisolak. They had that big GoFundMe that drew over $11 million, and we don't even know if that was even dispersed properly. Just a lot of weird stuff going on with the shooting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, in closing, let's change gears here. Let's cover what about the CDC scientists that disappeared and they just.
Oh, the doctor that drowned in the river.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he disappeared and then they found.
Conveniently.
Yeah, that's a strange story right there. I tell you, and this is another one of those things that involve the government that you
Probably
wonder
not
just what's
convenient to
going
her,
on.
but
I mean, very strange. He vanished in February. Then they recovered the dead body from the Chattahoochee River. Is the police found all of his personal items at his home. They found his keys, his cell phone, his credit cards, his debit cards, his wallet, and all of his IDs, including his passport, all at his home. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, and even left his dog there too.
Yeah. And then there was no Lyft or Uber car that he used or anything. So how do you explain that? It's strange. It doesn't make sense.
It is strange. It's like but then again, we don't know. He could have been mixed up in the wrong crowd or whatever. But I mean, it's highly doubtful. I mean, he's successful. He's a doctor at the CDC.
Yeah,
he literally got his life ahead of him. Unless he got like the Ebola, I don't see anybody working for the CDC a cushy job offing themselves.
Yeah.
I really don't. I mean, the CDC offers you mental health therapy. They offer you so many steps to their health benefits package is just beautiful. I mean, it's the freaking CDC. Wake up, people. It's not like you're working for the local ER. You're working for the CDC.
The Centers for Disease Control.
I tell you where it all goes back to. And Charles, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I bet you they all knew Hillary and Bill Clinton. There we go. I'm out.
Wait, what was that? I missed that one.
They all knew Hillary and Bill Clinton. That's probably why all these mysterious deaths are coming.
Yeah.
He's not going to comment on that. What do you think? You think there's any truth to that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's I tell you, the political ties and the favors and agendas and all that stuff. A lot of weird stuff going on.
Oh, and Trump's got them all shook up. See, I think that's a big part of this.
Absolutely.
Trump's got them shaking in their shoes. They don't know what's going to happen next.
Because there's been no man to take them on like that before.
Trump's very wily,
Yeah.
I mean, the neat thing about Donald Trump is he not only sees where the rock splashes, but he sees what's going to happen with the rings when they go out. And you got to be careful dealing with him. I don't care if you're China or who you are, because he's thought this thing already 3 or 4 steps down the road.
Well, what's funny is, literally last night, my husband and I were watching. Someone had posted on YouTube all of these places, all of these people leading up to the inauguration, not the inauguration, sorry, the presidential election. They were all saying, he's not going to win it. He's not going to win it. He can't win it. He's just, a talk show host. Nobody's going to vote for him. And then the night of election, nobody was going to say, Hillary needs to concede. She needs to concede. The president has won. The president has won so early on, and every single time Trump would take another place, all they would say was, well, Hillary's still got this state. She can make it. She still got this state. She can make it. There was no more. By 9 o'clock, President Trump had won, and nobody still wanted to call it. By 12 o'clock, they still hadn't called it.
I know.
In fact,
I know.
they waited for her to step of the past for Melania and picked out his own Secret Service for his wife, his kids. He added security to all of his companies, added security to his own house. He's taken measures that nobody likes. Nobody likes the fact that he prays at the beginning of every day in the Oval Office. He prays for his country, the people that are working under him, his family, to be guided in the right direction for this country. Now, when is the last time America knew that a president was openly praying for the country Not him,
That's right.
not for, to pass this bill, not to get more money, nothing self-serving. It was for the country. It was for the men and women that's serving this country.
That's right.
When was the last time that an American president gave up not just his first term payment, like his presidential salary? He's given that up for the entire
awesome.
time. Not just this first time, not just the first year, like most of them do. Most of them say, oh, the president's giving up his paycheck. No, honey, he's only giving it up for the first year or the first 6 months. Trump gave it up for the entire time he's in presidential office.
That's right.
He doesn't need it. He's not doing anything he's doing in office. He's not doing for self-serving. He already said, and they brought it up. I thought this was like a kick in the jaw. He brought it up. I think it's Oprah. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. I believe Oprah called him out on his steel. He was bringing in all this metal from overseas, and she said, well, you're driving for Americans to make this steel at home, but you yourself are sending jobs overseas and bringing in metal. And he was like, well, that's because you won't let us. You won't let us make it here in the United States. It's not feasible for Americans to make it here in the United States. I'm an American. Make it feasible for me, and I'll bring it back. And for him to put himself in that position is so inspiring to me, because he's basically saying, look, if you want control, take control. And it's not going to happen by sitting on the sidelines. And he even said he sat on the sidelines too long and watched politician after politician just down America, dumb it down and bring it down. So he's bringing it back up to where it needs to be.
And like Travis O'Connor says on here, he says, someone is finally running the country like a business, which is what we needed. He's successful for a reason, and others are in denial, still wanting him to be like other presidents and taking care of other countries' needs instead of our own here in the U.S.
Yeah, absolutely.
Charles Beckman says JFK also gave up his salaries. Sue Gilbert Jones, Make America Great, Mayor. But usually we run a Facebook Live every morning. We do a show Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. And we have varying topics every week. Sometimes we have hunting, fishing. We're going to start Wednesdays.
And you go to your settings, then go to your ad settings. Then go to your profile, I believe. It'll take you to what Facebook has you under politically. And
that's
you can either be
that was Bill Dickerson. He knows Charles, and he got the contact in here. We had some people asking who he was. Then Rick Phillips was up here earlier, and he's the one. He's actually the brain behind the Pinky and the Brain. Your time now.
Absolutely.
Are you right in New Orleans, or where are you located exactly?
Yeah, I'm in the suburban area. Kenner, it's just about 10 miles outside of New Orleans. So.
Kenner, really?
Right.
I have
by the airport.
The magic words.
So, but yeah, we do.
I wish I could send you some.
Oh.
I would send them right now if I could.
Well, I tell you, we do appreciate you calling in.
We are not snowflakers, and we believe you should be accountable for your actions, not somebody else's actions, and nobody is accountable for your actions but you. So if you don't believe that, keep watching. We'll keep telling you how you should be acting.
Rick just made an announcement that Waverly City Schools and Pike tell us to follow. I don't know what she majors in or anything, but tell her to follow us, because we actually might be up in the Delaware area covering some sports next year. And if she's into sports or anything like that, I've never hunted before, and we have a very brave man named Joe Holdren, and he's going to actually take me out turkey hunting, because turkey hunting starts here in just a few weeks. And I already told this guy's like more, he's got more braveness than Evel Knievel, because if I'm going to be near a gun shooting it, it's going to be scary. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm under a little heat. They're going to be videotaping me all the way through the process, from shooting the gun to going out and, stalking the turkeys. stalking the turkeys. Stalking the turkeys.
You're going to stalk a turkey.
Yeah, we're going to. Well, we got to find out where they're at. So you go out
You're
the
gonna
night
stalk a
before,
turkey.
and we call them. You know, gobble 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 gobble. We do that. And
That's
they come.
not how you call a turkey.
No, I know, but they've got the things to do it with. And then the next day we'll get up real early and we'll go out and we're going to get in a blind, and we're going to see if I can nail a turkey or not. I guess they say turkey meat, like wild turkey, is a lot better than regular turkey too. Yeah, it's a lot better. So, Dean Thompson.
It actually is a lot better. You better wear some orange.
No, for
Well,
turkey hunting you don't.
They'll be in a blind, yeah. So what'd you guys think
Nope.
about Charles?
Oh, I think he's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Right? You sell it. You are.
I am
You
covered.
have.
And this is why they call it the morning zoo, because that's exactly what we
You
are.
never know what you're going to
Ed
find.
Black, he wants to know if there's any good fishing areas in Columbus. I'm sure
Columbus?
Joe
I don't know.
Joe would be able to help you. But I tell you what, we've got a real nice pay lake down there by Jeffersonville. Now I'm trying to get them to come on. Yeah.
Right.
Veterans, if you are a certain amount of disabled, I think you have to be over 50%. You get free fishing license,
Probably free
free
hunting
fishing
license too.
everywhere. In it or I won't do. No, it does not.
Cook it right, it does.
No, it does not. If you cook
What are you
it and it
talking
tastes
about?
like chicken and it's not chicken, you've cooked it wrong. Every single animal
Fishing.
has
Thanks for watching.
We are out of here.
And
Everybody have a great
share.
day. Yep,
share